of the light in the detector are rotating with the disk. So in the traditional configuration, the light source and the photographic plate are on the rotating device, like or in the rotating circle. For the example I gave earlier to Brandon. Let's see here. Okay. When the disk rotates clockwise, the beam propagating clockwise takes longer. The time interval of the or takes longer than the time interval of the beam propagating counterclockwise, while both beams travel the same path in opposite directions. The time difference, the travel time difference between them is delta t equals 4a omega over c squared, where a is the area enclosed by the path and omega is the angular velocity of rotation. Since the 1970s, the Sagnac effect has found its crucial application in navigation as a fundamental design principle of fiber optic gyros, otherwise known as FOGs. In FOGs, when a single mode fiber is wound into a circular coil with n turns, the Sagnac effect is enhanced by n times, so that the travel time distance is 2 or 2VNL over c squared, where v is the velocity of the rotating fiber, and L is the circumference of the circle, and n times L is the total length of the fiber. The time difference in the FOG, the time difference in the FOG can be expressed by the phase difference delta phi equals 2 pi delta TC over lambda, where lambda is the free space wavelength of light. Today, FOGs have become highly sensitive detectors measuring rotational motion in navigation. It is believed that the Sagnac effect exists only in circular motion. However, we have discovered that in any moving path contributes to the total phase difference between two counter propagating light beams in the loop.
Good grief,
In the,
dude.
I mean, right?
Like, yeah, right. Like, come on, man. Like, but he's gonna
Just
say it's like I don't understand if he just doesn't understand the fact that it's a loop and it's like a fully complete loop no matter what, or like
no, but he does though. Like, that's why it's so particularly crazy, man. Um, so, in a previous experiment using a fiber optic conveyor (FOC), we showed. Oh, dude, we got to take a look at FOCs. We showed our that pre- preliminary result that a segment of linearly moving glass fiber contributes delta phi equals 4 pi v 4 pi vl over c squared or over c lambda to the phase difference. Here we generalize our findings for the Sagnac effect with a more complete study and series for new experiments. Our experiments include different types of motion and light paths with a fiber optic and air core fiber. In this study, we found that the light wave loop consisting of linearly and circularly moving segments in any segment of the loop contributes to the total phase or to the total difference between the counter propagating beams in the light loop. Let me get my color legend out real quick, so just in case there's any,
our exam.
you guys can see the colors.
So we generalize our finding for the Sagnac effect.
So I'm just gonna say you guys are definitely way smarter than I am. I understand a lot of the words, but not the way that they work like relative to each other. Like I understand each word exactly, but I don't know. I'm still trying to wrap my mind around the entire thing because before like came back on Discord, I'd never even heard of the Sagnac effect, you know? And
Yeah,
so this is a very new concept to me, and I haven't been able to sit down and like watch. I've watched a couple of your videos, like first one of the first 2 or 3 of the space audits, but I haven't been able to watch any of the later ones. I figured I might start watching some of those because that might be where you talk more about
Yeah, dude, my older stuff is dog shit, bro.
So
Watch the new stuff.
okay. Yeah.
My old stuff
No
was more
worries. I
like,
mean,
yeah, my
I
old
didn't. I'm not gonna say that. I just was saying like that's
yeah,
where I started, and I figured. I mean,
it's
he
dog,
got
yeah, it's
onto
trash.
the Maru thing for his new stuff, so I'm gonna watch the new stuff at this point.
Yo, a good place
So,
to go. He just on last Friday he just did a walkthrough of like everything with this with laser interferometry.
Oh yeah,
So it's
yeah, I
actually
did
like a
actually.
perfect place to start with this.
the Flat Earth Friday video you put up.
Yup, the
Yeah,
one from
I'll get you the
Okay.
timestamp real quick. That's
I was gonna
perfect.
say
I
that one's
did.
6 hours long. I'll watch the whole thing, but yeah.
Yeah.
he'll hit you with the timestamp at the beginning of it. But yeah, it was
Yeah, that
exactly
was
about this.
yeah, that was awesome. That fucking Ralph guy. Apparently he pops off all the time, but when I show up, he's all chilling.
That's beautiful.
Wait, is he a Glober or flat earther?
He's a Glober.
Oh, dude,
He's a
he was
fucking
not talking
know-it-all.
like a Glober when I showed up. Like he was being real chill.
Really, really, that's awesome.
That's
Yeah,
what it
because
seemed like.
apparently he's had a change of heart, I guess, or something. So I linked it directly to you, President Brandon, so you can have it for reference later and added you to friends list on Discord.
Alan, are you serving
Badass,
humble
thank
pie?
you.
Is that what you're doing?
What's that?
Going out there serving humble pie all the time?
Dude, I mean, I might have served a little to that guy, but yeah, that was epic, and we went through like the whole rendition of it, the whole history of it, and like full fucking yeah, that was awesome.
Yo, I'll be right back. You guys continue.
Okay. All right, so let's see where we're at here. So the color legends down there. So pink is rotation, green is linear, blue is miscellaneous. It's just whatever. Black is stationary, red is emphasis on importance, and yellow is like whatever. It's just generic highlights. So because of this because the Sagnac effect is typically associated with angular rotation and rotation specifically. I broke it down into linear and circular color codes so that you can to kind of make it easier to understand what they're talking about when going through the paper. So
That's
hopefully,
nice.
yeah. So it looks
I've
hella
actually done
confusing,
something.
but yeah,
I've
it
done
has a
something
purpose.
similar to this with not with science stuff, but with the UCC, UCC 8. I went through the entire thing and color coded it, and like everything that connects together. It's like a fucking spider web. But yeah, this is really cool. Seeing this reminds me of what I've done before.
Yeah, hell yeah. So let's see here. Let me hit this a couple more times.
But
with the
yeah,
little
yeah.
video.
So the contribution is proportional to a product of the moving velocity v and the projection of the segment length delta. I don't even know some of the symbols. See, that's where it gets me, is I don't know all the symbols.
Oh, where was it at? Where were you reading at?
I was reading the very bottom, probably a little bit after you had stopped reading a second ago.
Oh, the segment of the link delta
I'm
L.
back.
Yeah, so whatever you see like this triangle here next to like a variable, the delta means like a change in or the difference. So the difference in the length kind of thing.
Okay.
Or it'd be like delta t, so the change over time, that kind of thing. So let's see here. So the contribution is proportional to the product of the moving velocity and the projection of the segment length delta L on the moving direction. Delta phi equals 4 pi v times delta L over c lambda. It is independent of the type of motion and the refractive index of the waveguides. The total phase difference of the loop is delta phi equals 4 pi over the integral of the length times velocity. I don't know what's going on here. Dude,
You know more than
DL.
I.
I mean, you're trying
You
to
know more
like
than me,
you're
man.
deriving waves, like you're driving distances and waves, right? Or distances and wave peaks, or something like that. Is that what it's doing?
Essentially, dude, ask ChatGPT. That's
Oh.
what I mean. This is what they get the phase difference shit from. So like, I assume that's what it is, right?
Yeah, that's my assumption. Yeah, I think it's a good idea. Let me ask ChatGPT. That's a really good idea.
But yeah, I've just never seen like them do the integral over. Like this is interesting to me, where they've taken it to this level of situationalist.
So where is my
So
conversation about Wang? Go ahead, you can continue.
the general conclusion includes the Sagnac effect for rotation as a special case. Toby, what are your thoughts on that phraseology,
The
dude?
This general
This is an unremarkable paper. It proves nothing.
This general conclusion includes the Sagnac effect as a dude. He words it so fucking trickily, like he won't say it. You know what I mean?
Tell me you're violating special relativity without violating special relativity.
Right. He just like sneaks. It is even the sentence is just sneaked in the middle of that like that whole thing. Like
just starts a new fucking thing with
this
it.
general
right
conclusion
off of the back of this equation
includes the Sagnac effect for rotation as a. So okay. So he's saying that. Wait, what, dude? So it's like for some reason so the Sagnac effect in this context is just in general referring to our ability to measure motion of the Earth. Is that kind of what he's saying? Like, I guess that's kind of the Glober point of view, right?
No, this isn't even in reference to the Earth. This is just motion in general.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. I forgot. Sagnac effect is literally just the motion in general, it's not talking about the specific drift, right?
Yeah.
I always get that.
Yeah, see, dude, how crazy is that? So a closed loop interferometer, the Michelson-Gale Pearson, is a stationary Sagnac interferometer, and it measured, that drift relative to the lattie, and then a rotational one measures rotation to a first order dependence on it, or the one that's rotating has a first order dependence on that rotation speed. And it's like, dude, the one that's stationary, like, it's so obvious that the fucking sky is the, like, I know it's just a measurement and you could go either way technically, but dude, it's like, come on, bro. How do you not realize it's the fucking sky?
The finding also suggests a new fiber optic linear motion sensor having nanoscale sensitivity, which is more sensitive than any existing linear motion detectors. This linear motion sensor may be dude, like, what the fuck, dude? Like, hey, we could use this to measure linear motion. Like, he's literally explaining we could use this to measure linear motion.
No, I think it's nothing to see here. Relativity's been reaffirmed.
Dude. Oh, okay, so I'm glad that he's really fucking good at gaslighting, dude. He makes me feel in that video, he also says some weird shit about you, like conceding and stuff, that you guys had a conversation and
so he did show me this stuff, or he was telling me about the relative motion stuff or whatever, and I was like, okay, I'll have to like get back to you on that, because that was right at the summit and all this. Like, this was like literally this weekend.
Yeah, I know. I'm almost wondering if he knew you were in the middle of the summit.
No, I don't think he knew I was.
No, he doesn't seem like that type of guy.
And to be fair, he did ask me if I would go on before he went live on that.
Oh,
I was
cool.
I was doing stuff with the fam. So
much respect to him then.
Yeah, he didn't like snake me or anything. So it's like, it's all good, but it's like, yeah, this is fucking crazy. It's literally not how he said it or anything in the video.
We still haven't even gotten to the Slack portion, but like, yeah.
We haven't even got to the sleazy.
Okay, so yeah, let's continue along.
But yeah, and it's like, when I do get back to him on stuff, dude, like, I get fucking hella gaslit. Like, he gaslit me on the GPS papers that he doesn't think shows a variance in C. Like, he so note the comment at the end of that video he made on this where he's like, it's that spoiler alert, it doesn't show a variance or whatever, right?
Oh yeah.
And it's like the whole fucking papers are about all right. just like this doesn't measure linear motion, you know? So it's like I don't always reply to him in a hurry, and I'll just be like, okay, bet. Like I'll look into it, you know, like I'll concede, like, you know, to smooth it over,
Yeah.
and then get back to him
Fair
later because
enough.
it's just like it's a lot sometimes. But yeah. So our experiments are different from the Fazal type experiment, the drag experiment of a moving medium. And for those who aren't familiar with your boy Fazoo or Fazal or some variation thereof,
I am definitely intrigued.
oop, that's not it. 1 second. Side prop. Shout out to Robert Bennett. I absolutely refused to look up the Fazoo experiment because this name is ridiculous. Every time I see it, it's just something about it. I absolutely wouldn't. I would never look at it. But Bennett thankfully came through with his presentation and included the Fazoo experiment. So we'll see a nice little diagram of what happened here.
So I'm wondering if they ever did an experiment with the ring gyro laser gyroscope, whatever the fuck it's called, where they attempted to counter that specific phase shift because it would like to zero it out. You know what I mean?
You'll never guess how an inertial navigation system works, like the one that Bob used. So the system vibrates and forces a 15-degree-per-hour fringe, and then they zero that out, and then the motion that they detect after that is what they say is, you know, from blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
They say that they call it phase locking. They say they do that to prevent phase locking, and they basically vibrate it back and forth is what they say, and they cancel that out.
Oh, so it's like a calibration that they can run at any point to basically bring it into phase, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, has anyone ever?
We'll see. That's why. So I talked to Icon Science about this, and I don't like, even if the Bob data does show the drift and stuff, like that stuff could be corrected on there, like before it's even output or recorded, you know, like from the machine's end, because it runs through it runs through an algorithm and stuff. So like it's basically a little supercomputer. It definitely
OnStar ready.
Dude, OnStar's ready.
OnStar ready.
Oh my god, sorry. I forgot I was open.
No worries.
I don't even know.
More, please.
Oh man, I don't even know what the it's
Dude,
doing.
I haven't heard OnStar in years.
Oh god.
All right.
Let's see here. I'm trying
Shout
to
out
find the
OnStar.
Fazal thing real quick before we move on. Come on, Fazal, where are you hiding at, buddy?
I was
hate-
fucking trying to adjust my mirror. Then all of a
this
sudden
isn't
it
even
starts
it.
going OnStar ready. God damn it.
Okay, well
Timing was impeccable.
This is a different one, so we have to look this up now. 1 second. I think this was the guy that did the telescopes in water. He did like an Aries failure type spinoff. Because that was the other thing was Fresnel. Type experiment. Citation 8. 1 second. But yeah, the Fazoo water tube. Okay. Is there a diagram? All right. Well, this guy did some variation of Aries failure type situation. So anyway, I thought that was the Fresnel thing, but I got it wrong. So where were we at, boys? I think we were at
Fazoo.
Yeah, right around here. Yeah, Fazoo. So our experiments are different from the Fazoo type experiments. Quotes, drag experiment of a moving medium. In the Fazoo type experiment, there is relative motion between the path of light and the medium or glass. The the result of the Fizeau experiment is dependent on the refractive index of the medium, and the drag coefficient is 0 when the refractive index is 1. In our experiment, the FOG, there is no relative motion between the light path and the fiber optic. Dude, Toby, are you there? Toby?
Yeah, dude, that's straight. Holy, dude. Dude.
Toby.
Oh
Toby.
yeah, dude. You're right, dude. You're right. It's verbatim. I don't know if does he want to just argue with Wang on this? Like, is Wang full of it? Is that his assertion? He's so unclear on his. Okay, well, actually, he's very clear on his contention. So now, dude, holy shit, dude.
So we're before we even touch this, we have to invite him on to do a video, like at the same time, like record the response.
We're gonna corner him.
No. Because
I mean, that's kind of what you're describing.
No, not in that manner. I meant like as a courtesy because he invited me onto the thing, and then like if we put out a video, like without talking to him about this, because this is like he should have a we can have a conversation with him without double teaming him. You know what I mean?
No, I know, dude.
But
I don't.
Yeah.
I'm tempted to just respond to his comment on the YouTube. I mean, that's what I would do. Would just be like, "Yo, what about this part?"
And just quote the whole section.
Just quote that exact sentence with the page number.
And catching him live, though, bro.
It would be good to do live. I can't argue with that, dude. That's so let me read his YouTube comment.
Yeah, like let's. Oh man, so. There's no relative motion between the path of light and the medium.
So here's what
I dispute that when it's clearly written right there.
I said. Yeah, so he said he's like, it's funny, he like makes a jab at us, and then I said, "Hey Matt, thank you for taking a look at the paper. At 1414, the statement is made that the conveyor measured relative velocity. Can you clarify your position on this? Because from our understanding, we should not be able to measure linear motion." Because he's talking about the linear motion relative in those two different fiber optic or linear portions of the fiber optic waveguide loops. And then he says, "Sure thing. Special relativity says you cannot measure absolute linear motion. Indeed, there is no such thing." Then he says, "Special relativity says you can measure relative linear motion." So his whole claim here is that this is relative linear motion. Just that is to say, all velocity. He just goes on and like fucking educates me about how uses math.
So yeah, dude. So it works. The
and then hold on one more sentence. He says, in Wang's experiment, the FOG is moving relative to the racetrack loop, and that speed can be measured. If you remove the racetrack loop from the experiment, the FOG would not have anything outside itself to compare speeds with.
It doesn't have that,
dude. That's the magician cap right there, dude.
Yeah, it doesn't have that to begin with, bro.
That's the wizard cap coming on.
It literally, so the fucking Sagnac effect literally works exactly how Sagnac described it. There's an ether wind within that motion. You create an ether wind relative to that. I'm sorry, you generate like an ether wind from that motion that creates that proportional variance. Like that's it.
So he says SR says you can measure relative linear motion, and then Wang says, in our experiments, as in the FOG, there is no relative motion between the light path and the medium, glass fiber, or air core fiber. So that's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it literally says all three too.
So I even said to him last night, I said, the linear portions of the waveguide loop are shown to contribute to the total fringe relative to the speed of light propagating in that linear portion of fiber. That's all I said. And then he said, what does that mean to you? Are you taking that to mean the speed of light in the linear portion is different? Like light moving to the right has a different a different speed than light moving to the left, it certainly doesn't mean that. Here is a much more simple example of the same effect, and then he provides another paper. It's quite a bit longer, but explains things much more clearly, IMO. Oh, yeah? Is that because it's not using linear motion and shitting in your face? In that one, figure 5...
Yes, that's why. Ouch.
I didn't even take the time to look over this one. I was like so frustrated with how he's just gonna do this indefinitely, though, isn't he? Like he doesn't like I see
No.
why I shouldn't.
Yeah, he'll never concede, and that's why I generally give a concession, because it's just not worth it, and you can get much more out of him by just,
Well, that's
going
why
along.
last night when I responded, I just had that one straightforward statement, because I was just like, that way, if I just have to leave this behind, like I made my point loud and clear, so like he can
Yep.
either cog this out and like not accept it, or
No, dude, it was a great question, man, and it really cut to the heart of it, because this is it right here. There is no relative motion being measured here, my dudes. This device works off of all motion creates an ether vortex around that motion, and if there's electromagnetic propagation going towards that thing that's creating that motion, it's going to be delayed but proportional to the velocity of what created that vortex.
the loop includes significant portions of
That was Sagnac's understanding. That was the understanding that you could measure absolute motion. So Toby, check this out. What are the atomic clocks synchronized to? Pop quiz.
to literally to the Sagnac effect, aren't they?
Yep. So how could it? So if it's synced to the velocity of why would it need to be synced to the velocity of the craft, dude? Why would there be a proportional variance in the speed of light proportional to the velocity of the craft?
Yeah.
Alan, I'm so sorry. Thank you for all you do. I have a real quick question. I'm sorry to interrupt everybody. I can wait.
You're straight. What's up, bro?
Can somebody please share the link for the Black Hole Sun presentation that Shane did like not long ago?
Yep, no worries.
Find it
Right here.
anywhere on the interweb. Thank you so much. And by the way, kudos from 2 days ago and the headband. I was like, thank you, Robert or Bennett. And I'm like, bruh, this is the shit I'm like, bruh, I feel the reckoning coming. Good job.
Yeah, awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Sky Optics, Black Sun.
Sorry to interrupt. Thank you so much.
Yep, you're good. You're good. Black
I wanted
Sun,
to
here
share
you
it with like 2 different other apps and 3 different servers, and I'm like, these people need this. Anyway.
Yep, here you go.
Merci.
One Black Sun.
One Black Sun. Black Sun. Have a good night, Alan. Thank you.
Yeah,
And
you too.
please pray for my husband. He is going through it, and he's not at home, jail. Anyway, just pray for him, please. Okay.
Yeah, no worries, man.
Thanks,
Hope he's
man.
all right, man.
God is good. Absolutely.
All right. Let's see. What's up?
Like he seems to think that like the FOG, the motion of the FOG is what's relevant too, but like that's kind of like the FOG is moving to stay just so that the whole racetrack can go, right? Like, I don't think that the FOG's motion is really like super relative as far as like I think he's
Well, you talking about the part that's still coiled and attached to the conveyor?
Yes. No.
No, that it,
Wait, scroll down. So there's 3 motions, right? Like that's what we were talking about. But he seems to only want to think about the one, as far as I can tell.
No. Well, I'm thinking of the parallelogram configuration where there's only 2. Like, just make it even simpler.
Yeah. Which I haven't even I didn't even broach that. We haven't even broached that yet.
Yeah, because it's like fuck this. Like just do the straight linees. Like, because
Yeah.
that's what because he's not saying, Wang's not saying, hey, we did 17 configurations and only a couple of them violate special relativity. He's saying this whole thing, the rotation effect is a special case. Like, he's being very
delicate.
like he knows what's up.
Yeah.
Like, dude, just in case, dude, he's being so. This is how delicate you have, because this is published in Cornell thing too. So this is why you have to like be in write it in esoteric fucking cryptic shit. Because he's shooting up a fucking flare gun for anyone to notice.
Yep. Like Bennett and us.
Yep.
Hey, Alan, am I
So
retarded?
no,
I mean,
maybe, but I don't know. I don't think so.
I mean, right? Only halfway. Did you post it in the chat here or like?
Oh
direct-
yeah, it's in the general
I
text
hate the
channel.
new the new Discord changes to the app. I all I see is Canadian money post.
Oh shit! Yeah, I seen that they changed it on the phone recently. I got
The
nothing.
worst user. They might. I don't. They're not Japanese user interface designers. Is all I gotta say.
Yeah, that sucks. Need
Uh,
someone that makes Japanese MMOs to make a Discord
we need
UI. What are your
Studio
thoughts?
Ghibli to do all of it. Yeah. If you could just DM it to me because apparently me and Discord are now retarded. So I'm gonna hang
No
around for
worries.
this presentation once I find. I'm so sorry. I'll shut up.
You're good. No worries. I sent it to you in DM.
Thank you so much. Okay, I'm listening now.
Yep. All right, cool. All right, let's see. Where were we at?
An air core fiber. I think.
Yeah,
Or
an air
maybe I
core
read
fiber.
ahead.
And
Yeah,
Riggs,
so-
I am sorry. That's all I had to say.
All right, cool.
All right, so an air
The
core.
ex- The experimental system in our study consists of a fiber optic loop as a fiber optic gyro and a mechanical conveyor, as shown in Figure 1A. A single mode fiber loop with different configurations was added to the FOG. See, this is where it got confusing for me, where it was like I thought that there was a separate FOG on the conveyor, and that red thing was added to replicate the motion of the original configuration. You know what I mean? That's why?
Hold on, go back. So let's go back to let's parse this out. Go back up to where we were reading at,
Okay. Let's see.
because that they're describing this configuration, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
the experimental
Figure
system
1A.
in our study consists of a fiber optic loop and a mechanical conveyor, as shown in Figure 1A. A single fiber optic loop with different configurations was added. With a single single mode fiber loop with different configurations. So that's coming off of the FOG, okay, which was calibrated for the added length, okay. The loop includes significant portions of fiber segments that move linearly. So he's describing that racetrack. The function of the FOG in this experiment is to transmit and receive the counter-propagating light beams to detect the phase differences between the two light beams. Because the FOG is not rotating in the experiment, the detected phase differences are caused by the movement of the added fiber optic loop. So that's the racetrack specifically.
So that's the linear racetrack.
Yep. Okay. So now let's see if we can get to where it talks about how they move the whole thing. An air core fiber was used to verify the phase difference. So I think, let's keep on. It's independently of the refractive index and various types of motion. The new photonic band gap fiber has a hollow air guiding core with the wavelength of 100 two-wheel FOC. The fiber was used to construct a two-wheel FOC. So FOC stands for
fiber optic conveyor.
Okay. And a three-wheel FOC. That's not shown.
Not shown.
Oh, wow. A three-wheel, not
so
shown.
yeah.
Is that like a triangle
Yeah.
shape?
So check this out. Remember from the year prior, where he shows different configurations.
All those configs, yeah.
One of these.
Okay. So, shown in Figure 1B are the detected phase differences caused by the fiber motion with both configurations. The length of the fiber loop is 4.1 meter, and the speeds of the motion are from 0.00191 to 0.211 meters per second. Okay. Each phase difference is an average of 8 measurements. Okay. 13 phase differences range from that to that. The maximum conveyor velocity error is 1.7%. The least wait, the least squares linear regression model. Least squares linear. At least it's not throwing errors out. Of the phase differences. So least squares linear regression of the phase differences. So that's just basically what declaring like what the total phase shift, right?
Yeah.
That's what I've gathered that to be. Okay, cool. So it also matches the result using a glass fiber. It also oh, okay, that's interesting. So this what they were using air core in this particular configuration, but then he said it matches the result with a glass fiber. Therefore, it is confirmed that the contribution to the phase difference in a moving light waveguide is independent of the refractive index of the waveguide and independent of the wow. So you can't say it's some kind of crazy refraction effect because they did it with air and with glass. So moving on.
Yeah, and our boy least squares linear regression makes an appearance to verify this just through statistical analysis
Yeah.
that this statement is backed up by math. You guys remember math, right? The thing that we're all retarded don't know about. It's like, yeah, but like, you know, we know how to fucking read, right? And this says that their math is fucking disproving their whole theory.
To study the relationship between the experiment in which the fibers thing he's not describing. I wanted to see like how the fiber optic conveyor is moving, right? Not the fiber optic conveyor, but the basically specifically how the FOG with the sensors is being pushed, how that motion is being related to the conveyor, the FOC. Because like in the diagram, they have the wheel showing that it's like a motion, a linear motion, or like
like an additional velocity.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Right.
And it shows the arrow too.
So it would just be these two added together. You would just add these two together.
Dude, I love your highlights, honestly.
Why, bro?
I hate reading my own right now because it doesn't have all your nice highlights. It makes it easy on my eyes.
Yeah. So yeah, you would just add these two together, because this is pulling this, right? So so he's saying that the additional velocity that's created by this existing and not being attached to this as a single part contributes to the full amount. So you know how it's dependent on the length, right? He's saying if the length of this was just what's wrapped around this part of the conveyor and not extending to the FOG, and then obviously what's wrapped up inside the FOG, he's saying that the total amount of length contributes to it, not just what would be on the racetrack.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's so when he's talking about different velocities, it's really just one though, right?
It's got nothing to do. It's like his thing about relative velocities is so nonsensical. Like it's got nothing to do with that. Like that's not in the measurement.
Nothing to do with it. And you can note that too by the Sagnac effect is supposed to be rotational. So there's not any like what would even be.
Yeah, so how do you explain this part where we're literally using a linear velocity? What the fuck?
To a degree where it measures the full linear velocity.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Not as just like a relative portion of rotational velocity.
Right. The full amount. It's not. Yeah, so it's fucking GG. All right, so where were we at here? Study the relation,
So yeah, we're up at the top of that paragraph right there, I think, right?
Oh, right here. To study the relationship.
No,
top of here. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. It also matches the result using a glass fiber. Therefore, confirmed. Okay. Therefore, it is confirmed that the contributions to the phase difference in the moving light waveguide is independent of the refractive index of the waveguide and independent of the loop configurations. So it doesn't matter if the loop's in a circle, if it's in a fucking line, if it's upside, if fucking Tarzan's swinging from it, it doesn't matter. if it's moving, It's detecting motion to the first order.
Dude, this is. I'm so glad we're like going through this bit by bit. It's so
Dude,
straightforward. It's literally just like it's just pure motion. It's purely relative to the motion.
it's absolute motion, dog. No, it doesn't exist. You can't measure it. Bet. Not only can you measure it, it's independent of anything. You fuck.
Dude,
Except
like
for the ether, right? So
Wang
fuck,
had it
dude.
going like every which way, dude. Like it's insane. You know what though? I see now. Now that you mentioned, like, I see now why Bennett said to like separate the FOG, because then it would have been a slam dunk. It's like everything at once, right? Like it's
Dude,
like
that would have been the ultimate GG KO.
yeah.
So let's see
Wow.
here. Dude, yeah, dude, next time I fucking debate relativity, I'm not even gonna do a presentation. I'm just gonna read this paper. I'm just gonna see if I can read it in like 3 minutes. And then once I get a 3-minute read on it, like that's a wrap, dog. Oh man. Okay, so let's see here. So we're super independent and detecting relative motion against an absolute background, as Sagnac originally stated in his 1913 paper. Okay, cool. Just making sure we're all caught up. To study the relationship between the motion of the fiber and the fiber orientation, we conducted an experiment in which the fiber zigzags and has an angle theta. I think that's a theta. Yeah. Anyway. 1 second. It's gonna bug me. Gotta know my thetas from my phis. All right. So, with an angle theta with respect to the direction of the fiber motion. Thus, for a fiber segment having an actual length of delta L, its effective length is close to delta L cosine theta, which is the projection of the fiber onto the motion direction. As shown in figure 2, our experiment demonstrates that the effective length contributes to the phase difference, not the actual length. Therefore, the phase difference is delta phi is or therefore the phase difference delta phi is not 4 pi v delta L over c lambda, but
Wait, can you go back real quick? I was in the middle of reading something there.
yep.
All right, sorry, go ahead.
What's up?
Go ahead.
Okay, so it's not that, but it is 4 pi v delta L cosine theta over c lambda equals 4 pi v times delta, or I'm sorry, delta L over c lambda, which is the dot product between the two vectors.
So yeah, they're talking about.
So
But so what
so
he's
the
talking
difference
there, when he's talking there about effective length, he's essentially talking about the motion being measured, right? Like the differential in the velocity due to the motion of the fiber.
see, the effective length contributes to the phase difference, not the actual length. Therefore, the phase difference is not delta phi. Delta phi is not delta L.
Right there, thus for fiber segment having actual length.
There's the cosine.
Projection of the fiber onto the motion direction. I think that is what he's saying.
Yeah. When it's in a zigzag configuration. Oh yeah, the parallelogram. Or whatever. Boy, hypotenuse. All right. See here. So, which is the dot product between the two vectors. So the relationship under study of motion, the fiber oriented, we conducted an experiment in which the zigzags have an angle of theta with respect to the direction of motion. So the difference in the angle. of this of the slack contributes to the.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, okay. Oh, bet. Oh, dude, oh my God, Toby. So what they would be saying here is that, so you know how the equation is uh what was it, the area of the device, or what, the length, right? So the total length of the device, right? Usually when it's all in motion, right, that's the effective length, and the length is all the same, right? But when it's configured such that only this linear part moves, and the other part moves, or the conveyor, only the length of what's moving contributes to
it. Dude, Wang was pretty clever, man. He this is like,
dude, shout out to fucking Ron Weezy, dude. Wrote that shit in Voldemort cryptic text, bro. Holy shit. That's what he's saying, dude. And dude, I can science that would be able to read this way easier and figure it out way quicker than I just did. And this is like what's insane.
Yeah, it is,
because he should get, like, this is his thing. This math shit.
Yeah, dude. I don't know.
Like,
he did say it perplexed him for a while, and then somehow he allowed himself to hang his hat up on the relative motion thing.
Yeah, this explicitly refutes it. Like like, fuck the total length, dog. It's literally just the length of what's in actual motion.
I know.
There couldn't be any more absolute relative linear motion.
I know.
Than this fucking experiment.
It's true. That's why we were keeping this one in the back pocket. But like, no,
I'm glad it came out, because going over it in great detail now is just making it way more legal.
Right. That's exactly why this is awesome to go. This like for him to challenge us on it, and now we can like make sure we go through it with a fine-tooth comb. We understand every aspect. We've like looked at each equation, looked at the configurations. We know what's being applied where and why. Yeah. This is great.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, I see some least squares over here.
Good. This pie is so good. This humble pie.
Yeah. Let's see here. So, and also we're gonna, while we're here, we'll read the refutation to this as well. So I've got, I haven't even read it yet, but I got it on the back burner. There was where is it at here? So this guy right here. Yeah, we'll read this next. This is supposedly the refutation to Wang. And this explains blah, blah, blah. So we'll see what's up with this here in a second, after we finish this. All right, so the dot product between the two so the linear motion's super special, extra measured. All right, cool. A further experiment was conducted to, oh no, say it isn't so, Wang, to study the phase difference when the segment loop is moved at different speeds. Figure 3A shows the fiber optic parallelogram where the top arms are moves and the conveyor. The top part in the conveyor moves, and the bottom part is stationary. While moving, the two side arms are flexible, being kept in the same shape so that the phase difference in these two arms cancel each other out. So the slack here is canceled out. The only thing that they're measuring is the motion of the length of this that's sliding back and forth as it's pulling this back and forth. That's all it's measuring, man. That's so fucking cool. That relativity is dog shit.
Dude, it's also so just cool. Like such a clever experiment. Like it, dude.
While moving, the two side arms being flexible are kept the same shape so that it cancels out. There is no phase difference in the bottom stationary arm. Therefore, the detected phase difference is contributed solely by the motion of the top arm. Yeah, the experiment was conducted using, what's that?
Nothing. I was just going to be annoying. Keep going.
The experiment was conducted using a glass fiber and an air core fiber. The detected phase differences are shown in Figure 3B. For the glass fiber configuration, the length of the top arm is 1.55 or 1.455 meters, and there are 11 turns. The measured phase difference range from 0.000482 to 0.12 121 radians for speed, from 0.000917 to 0.233 meters per second. In another configuration, the top arm is an air core fiber with a length of delta L in the of 5.23 meters, and the phase difference ranges from 0.000301 to 0.0346 radians for speed, or speeds from 0.00186 to 0.27 0.207 meters per second. The least squares linear regression for the phase difference is 0.0317 v delta L, which agrees with delta phi equals 4 pi v delta L over c lambda equals 0.0320 v delta L, with lambda equaling 1310 nanometers. All right, very cool. So, what the fuck did we just read? The linear configuration contributes to the phase shift, right?
Yeah, and then they're saying they did it with glass and with air, and they got different values for both, but that in both cases it the linear or the
when you average it out, it's literally the same.
yeah.
Very cool. Sorry, I fell asleep reading all the numbers.
So according to our experiments, we can draw a conclusion about the generalized Sagnac effect that in a moving fiber loop or waveguide, a segment with a linear or segment, I don't know what that is, something
Delta L.
something length, with a velocity v contributes delta what?
Delta phi.
Delta phi
PHI.
equals or minus or equals 4 pi velocity times delta length.
Yep.
Divided by the speed of this quote unquote speed of light. That is that lambda.
Times. Yep.
To the total, which I don't even know what the hell I'm saying when I say lambda, but in any case, to the total phase difference between two counter-propagating light beams in the loop. So
your lambda is going to be the frequency of light.
Okay.
So the frequency of light is going to be proportional to all of this situation going on over here. So the angular velocity, the linear velocity times the length of the device over the predicted amount for C is gonna give you the wavelength, or times whatever the wavelength thing is to get it to convert into that, and that's what it'll be.
Okay. According to our experiments, we can draw.
Just try to drink out of my water and the fucking caps on, boys. That's a wrap.
In a moving a segment with a velocity contributes to the total phase difference. Yeah, okay. This time he's really not avoiding saying it.
Yeah, dude, he gives several like beat around the bush cryptic text, but like he kind of says it like right here.
Delta.
So the contribution delta phi is independent. So the phase shift change is independent of the refractive index of the waveguide and the motion of the segment.
Yep.
Difference of two counterpropagating light beams moving fiber loop. Oh wait, why is this cut off? And segment.
It's on the next page.
Oh, it's right here. Okay, this is for the diagram. Let me hold on one second. Let me get that in there. Okay. All right, experimental setup. So the fiber loop is driven by a conveyor at velocity v. The conveyor has a Oh, that's interesting. So it's the conveyor that's moving this the whole time then?
Oh, that's what I wanted to figure out. That's what we were trying to figure out earlier. That's when we pulled the pitch, when we decided to read the paper. Experiment
Dude,
for
yeah, dude, down here at the bottom, at the fucking end.
experiment.
Alright.
The fiber loop is driven by the conveyor at. Okay, so the conveyor has only can move from the diameter to the wheel.
Well, yeah, that makes sense now. So like, that's how they got the exact linear velocity
So it
for
is
the
to me.
racetrack.
So then the way scroll back up to the figure again. So
Uh-huh.
or back up more to where the actual that there. So the red part, I take that to mean that the red line is
It's spinning the wheel.
yes, and then that's propelling the fiber optic that fiber optic gyro forward.
Yep, and it's just connected on the platform.
And now we have a consistent
conveyors on.
velocity for relative to
Yep.
each other.
Yep.
Cool.
Oh, dude, high five, bro.
right. This is good, dude. I feel like I
But it
really
was-
understand this experiment now.
Yeah. Yep. Way more than I did. Way more than I did the whole time I've been arguing it this whole time.
same. Well, I tell
Like,
you what,
dude-
I would have responded to him a lot differently, and I would have claimed this paper a lot more confidently if we had gone through this before, like we talked to him last time. Because when I realized that this was all I really had in my head at the exact moment for like relative velocity, relative linear velocity, or measuring linear velocity, it was like. But now I'm realizing, like, yeah, you pointed out GPS is another perfect example of it. So.
Oh, dude, but he's like, no, GPS doesn't work that way. Literally says in the fucking paper, it's accurate down to the millimeter on the first measurement, like
Did he-
irrespective of like the whole triangulation situation. It's like each beam that goes to you is a fucking first order measurement of the speed of light changing proportional to your velocity.
So we still got one page to go where he talks about the special case that this is.
Yeah, so we'll see what's up here. So the conveyor has a length of 1.5 meters and can move from 0.001 to 0.025 meters per second. The diameter of the wheels are 0.3 meters. The fiber optic gyro consists of a 1310 nanometer superluminescent light emitting diode as a light source, and the phase difference detector has an output rate of 1162.6 MV per rad. B, the phase differences of two counter propagating beams in a moving air core fiber. Oh, okay, so this was the summary of the figures. Okay, so B. So these are just, what are these? These are the linear speeds of the configuration. So 3-wheel, 2-wheel, and they're all detecting linear motion.
Dude, I want a $3 million fiber optic gyro and a bunch of air core fiber to play around with.
Dude, me too. So we can hit up that equator, dude. Remember the equator? Where those pendulums do weird shit or whatever.
Yeah, that
They-
would be interesting to run an FOG during the Elias effect.
Oh man, I bet you so much crazy shit happens, dude. The phase difference of moving fiber segments that have the same effective length and the different actual lengths. The effective length is 7.2 meters, and the four actual lengths are 8.31, 10.2, 14.4, and 27.8 meters. For theta, we equals 30 degrees, 45 degrees, 60 degrees, and 75 degrees, respectively. The velocity is 0.09 meters per second, or 91 meters per second. Four phase differences range from 0.0 radians. Okay, the standard deviation from that to that is in the form of the equation given to derive it based off of the angles for the parallelogram configuration. So yeah, just basically the data set for the for your boy parallelogram. All right. Presented by the dash line.
Cool.
All right, where were we even at?
So
This
we got
one-
one
from
more
this part,
figure here.
okay.
Yeah. So we go down. It starts below on the left side.
Oh, right here.
Yeah, so we might want to go back up and finish the sentence from the previous page, or I can maybe read it here if I have it up. So we had just read, according to our experiments, we can draw a conclusion about the generalized Sagnac effect that in a moving fiber loop or waveguide, a segment, the contribution delta phi is independent of the refractive index of the waveguide, and the motion of the segment can be, now we're where you are when you're red there, go back down, can be, and the motion of the segment can be either linear or circular. Thus, for the entire loop, the total phase difference between two counter-propagating beams in the loop is... Over to you, Alan.
All right. Delta phi equals 4 pi over the integral of length, I'm guessing, velocity times dl over c lambda. All right. Very cool. So the general conclusion includes that the Sagnac effect of rotation is a special case. So the general conclusion includes the Sagnac effect of rotation as a special case. What are your thoughts here, Toby?
So
there it is again. The mystery, dude.
It's so stupid.
What's Wang trying to say?
By the way, the Earth's rotating, like that's kind of what he's saying. Like he's like just like appeasing, I feel like.
What is, again, I'm sorry to ask this, but what is again the DL over C? What's that other symbol again?
Lambda. So lambda here would be what the wavelength of light should be, like their predicted phase difference.
The wavelength of light?
The wavelength.
Wavelength. Okay, my bad. Thank you.
Yep, you're good. And then this stuff over here is like the length of the fiber optic cable and the velocity, or the speed of the motion that it's experiencing.
Oh,
and
so
then the 4 pi.
Go. Sorry, continue. Sorry.
Just say, yeah, the 4 pi is just in relation to. So usually they attribute the Sagnac effect to rotational effects. So they'll put it over like pi. They'll do like 4 pi. Omega or whatever to describe like angular rotation kind of thing. So they're basically just rotating a circle is what they're describing with the math.
So it has the phi over, is that a 1 or an L? Because I see an A down below. There's a 1. What is, then there's I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead.
No, you straight,
shut up. I just see all this, and you seem to know it, and so I'm trying to get just the basic meaning of these symbols, so that way I can follow easier.
No, absolutely, dude. Learning these symbols is like part of the fucking initiation process, dude. Like I should have fucking taken better notes on them, but I should have like a whole thing of just like math symbols to
cool.
reference it. It would have been nice to build that. Should have done it. Still can. I should do it one day.
This general conclusion.
Yeah, so this general conclusion includes the Sagnac effect of rotation as a special case. In fact, the Sagnac result can be derived from this general equation, which definitely isn't a relativistic equation, by assuming the circular motion of a loop using Stokes' theorem. So I'm not sure what Stokes' theorem is here, but what this is the wavelength change based on the rotational speed of something is what he's saying here. Gotcha. So this would be so this all reduced down from the original theorem. You get this nice clean 8 pi omega A over C lambda. Way easier to say than all this shit, right? So that's where this shit comes from, where like that reduced simple, like this stuff is like the simple form of all that crazy shit to get the wavelength, right?
Right, so I posted Stokes' theorem real quick for you, and I just looked it up on Google. So Stokes' theorem says that, well, you know the symbols better than I do. We don't dot the field F with the normal vector. We dot the curl F with the normal vector. I don't know. You just brought up the Stokes' theorem, and you didn't seem to know what it was necessarily. So
yeah. So the curl. So what I'm familiar with in terms of curling, and that would be like from Maxwell's equations, where the curl is describing like the radial change of a toroidal field. So like I'm not sure how that would.
Well, I think
how it relates necessarily.
I think it's basically how he linearized it, right? Like how he I think it's related to how you go from the rotational velocity to the linear velocity, I think.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but like that's what would make sense, and that's kind of what he's saying by assuming a circular motion of the loop and using Stokes' theorem. And then it says right here, this generalization provides a design principle for a new fiber optic linear motion sensor, which has a high sensitivity and what does Matt think that means? That it has to be always measuring outside the window to some kind of like thing that's moving alongside of it that it's relative to, like it's just,
Dude, the implication here is that it's measuring absolute motion relative to an absolute background.
I mean, right there he's saying you could build a gyro and put it in an airplane and measure the absolute motion of the airplane with it.
So
Like-
it wouldn't matter if the gyro was in an airplane like they like to throw it out with. Is there like, was it in, I heard someone say, was the gyro in an airplane? Also, it doesn't, somehow, like, I remember Shane saying that got brought up, and then all of a sudden it didn't matter because the gyro was in an airplane.
No, this is in these are like lasers and fiber optic cable gyros, not like mechanical ones. So the mechanical ones that Shane was throwing out was in reference to how those are constructed and like what it means when they're in the plane and it being operational, because of how they recorrect it every 15 minutes and all this like crazy other shit. So for that, it's like, you just fucking dismiss that because
dude,
it's up.
This could, like, so if we actually were able to measure linear motion with interferometry, absolute linear motion, that would have such major implications, and actually it would especially have major implications for figuring out where their map is bunk. Right? Like if we could take, let's say we took a flight somewhere in the northern hemisphere and you suspect that you're making a further distance travel than the southern hemisphere. Well, right now they can hide everything behind GPS. But if you had a linear interferometer, you could measure your absolute relative velocity or your absolute relative motion the whole way. So you could assume, you get what I'm saying? Like you could substantiate distances even from within like a jet stream or whatever. You could substantiate your actual
velocity.
Yeah, although you still would have to then be able to figure out distances, but it would be like a big step towards absolute measurement.
Yeah, absolutely.
Crazy.
No pun intended.
Crazy. I mean, that would probably have so many applications, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, dude's saying like the military applications for this, but I mean, so this was on lend to him from the military, and dude invented something that called a foam, a new fiber optic linear motion sensor, bro.
Wait, what?
This is what the foams are.
Oh.
So yeah, like look at, hold on.
Wait, what? That's from his work?
I'm pretty sure I looked this up on Wikipedia and it's like a thing. Fiber optic linear motion sensor. Fiber optic. Where was I could have sworn I Googled it and it was like a wiki page for it.
Maybe they took it down.
They're like, oh shit, one of these flat earthers found it.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, and that's not coming up right away. I could have sworn because I was like, what the hell is a foam? Did they ever? Because dude, check this out. Your boy Wangs got patents, bro. Hold on. What's that, guys? What's Google patents?
I have no idea. Still, a speedometer using two spaced laser beams. Huh, a speedometer, dude.
Dude.
Wait.
see
So,
what
okay, yeah, we can look right here. Yeah. A standalone speedometer directly measuring the translational speed of a moving body comprises a source emitting two spaced light beams which interfere each other. Holy fuck.
your boy now introducing your boy linear interferometer. This is the foams.
He came up with this 5 years later. Wow. He got it patented. Standalone speedometer using two space. Dude, that's so insane. Claims the
Sagnac-
benefit of provisional patent application number 2004 by Ruyong Wang. He immediately knew what he was doing. Wow.
Immediately. Oh no, he's a fucking dude. This is an unremarkable paper. Immediately fucking made proprietary
He knew what the
military
fuck was
technology
up.
off of this.
Yeah.
You guys, dude, these fucking A, bro. Add this
Dude,
to-
it's in the patent. Holy shit.
Wow.
yeah, hold on. Let me add this to the sources real quick.
Like you guys understand way more about this than I do, and I still
So,
get the significance.
Just
so.
real quick to try and explain why this is relevant. When you're familiar with Michelson-Morley, right? At least
Yeah.
vaguely, I assume. Like when they want to do Michelson-Morley, they tried to measure orbital velocity of the Earth. They thought they were going to measure us going around the sun. So they were trying to measure that particular velocity, and they were using the fringe shift of the lasers to determine that. And they didn't get the shift they expected for the orbital velocity. And what they said at that time, there was like a very, very, very tiny amount of shift, and they said that was an instrumental error and that there was no shift at all. And the reason that they say that that they didn't get the orbital velocity measurement is because they say that that would be a linear motion, and you can't detect linear motion with using interferometry, which is basically using the speed of light. So for years, so we do measure like an actual, like years later, they fessed up that what they called instrumental error, or they didn't really fess up, but they used the tiny bit of fringe shift that they did get. They then started claiming that's due to the Earth's rotation. So they couldn't measure the orbital velocity. Then they basically used the exact same effect and said that it measures Earth rotation, and that's what they claim to cause the Coriolis effect and everything. But so we have to operate under the assumption that due to special relativity, we can't detect the orbital velocity because it's a linear motion specifically. We can detect rotational motion. We can't detect linear motion. That's the claim. So when Ruyong Wang did these experiments in 2004, he specifically induced a linear motion of these fiber optic cables that the light is propagating through, and the linear motion, purely the linear motion, changes the fringe shift. So the measurement of the speed of that light going through the fiber. So this experiment that we've been breaking down all this time, what we're talking about here, is basically just a patented, experimentally proven, a patented experiment that shows linear motion being measured with interferometry. So, in that case, if we can measure linear motion with interferometry, we should be able to measure orbital motion of the Earth with interferometry. And if we can't, then we need to have an explanation.
Oh my god. look at these equations, bro.
Did that make any sense, Brandon?
Yeah, no, I was just looking up, like, while you were talking, I was getting more specific on some definitions of the word.
Oh, gotcha. Sorry, sorry if I go too fast.
No, you're good. I understand it. I was just making sure I understood what you were saying.
Gotcha.
essentially.
Dude, right here. This is fucking crazy too.
Like I said earlier, y'all are way smarter than me.
Well, we've also a lot of it's just time that we've put into reading this stuff too, really, and talking about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I certainly have felt plenty stupid about this stuff plenty of times.
I've read this millions of times, and I'm just now understanding it.
Right.
Like I've known about this patent for a hot minute, had no idea how to interpret it and apply it, and like really grasp the magnitude of it.
Yeah.
And now it's like it's literally like, dude, I'm so glad he made that video.
That's funny that I said that. Like, dude, you could put this in an airplane and measure that relative motion. You're like, he's got that patented.
Like, yeah, like he actually did that. It's funny you mentioned that.
Yeah.
He is a patent holder of exactly that. So, oh my god, dude. Okay, so check this out. Let's just read through this. So, the standalone speedometer using the two-space laser beam cross-reference to related applications. This application claims the benefit of the provisional patent. Okay, but field of invention. This invention is generally related to instruments of navigation and more specifically related to a speedometer. Background of the invention. Most speedometers measuring translational speed of a moving body either are not standalone or do not directly or do not directly measure the speed.
Get ready for a nice pile of poop on your head, bud. Holy cow, dude.
Bro, this is so, dude. This, like, I don't even want to do this. I actually feel kind of sick. like I actually feel sick, bro.
Too big of a dunk.
There's a pit in my stomach right now. I feel like this is wrong.
Oh yeah, dude. That's a good. Being skeptical of this, I think, is fair because this is. I think it's real, but like it's a.
No, I mean, not that it's not real. Like that. Like this is just so fucking. Like, what's he gonna say,
dude?
Bro?
He's got nothing. This is a speedometer you can put in an airplane to measure absolute motion.
Like, it couldn't be any more fucking clear than this. Oh my god!
I could throw this thing in my backpack and go out and jog and like see how fast I'm going based off of the speed of light.
Oh my god!
I can't imagine. I doubt it's like that. It has that level of precision at low speeds, but.
No, it specifically does.
Well, he says it's for cars, so yeah, I guess it's probably not so bad.
Dude, this is millimeter precision, dude.
Oh, dude.
Is this like the radar?
I'm sorry,
gun?
this is nanometer precision. This is all the precision. What was your question, Brandon?
Is this essentially like a radar gun?
It's better.
It's a radar gun it's in an enclosed container, and so it's just measuring the relative it's measuring the phase difference of the light in that container that's being like the speed of the light is being affected by the relative motion of the device.
Whatever it's attached to.
Yeah, whatever it's attached to, yeah.
So, yeah, as I was kind of saying earlier, all motion creates a vortex ring around it, around whatever's, moving, and that causes a variance in the speed of light proportional to that velocity. So this is exactly what this device does. It couldn't work any other way, unless there was an ether. Like this is because it's measuring absolute motion against an absolute background. Like it's just the two things that they say explicitly don't exist, and then they had to invent because they couldn't measure the speed of the Earth moving. Like this technology right here, this technology disproves the motion of the Earth. Hands down. The thing that they say that they can't detect is not only detectable, it's detectable with nanometer precision.
I wonder if this is in use.
Oh, are you kidding me, bro? The military loaned him the equipment. They immediately fucking. Are you for real, dog? He doesn't reply to emails, like questioning this stuff. He doesn't want to talk about it. He doesn't want to falsify relativity, bro.
Yeah.
Your boy caught paid, bro.
Yeah.
Like he did this, patented it immediately, and they fucking paid him.
Yo, so what's our price? How much are they gonna have to offer us?
Dude, not even that much, bro. Like a couple mil.
right.
Like if they're like, "Hey, dude, we have $3,700," I'm like, "All right."
Just like, shut up about this. Here's 3,700.
Don't be a cheapo. That's all I'm saying. Don't be a cheapo.
Dude, respect, bro. Respect. Definitely gonna be a few hundred milli. But yeah, that's crazy, man. That this literally so we'll keep reading here. This is just blowing my mind how devastating this is.
Dude, like if I knew this when we talked to him last time. Oh,
I know.
Man.
I know. I'm so glad we're revisiting it, man, because it's like it's one of those things where you just
This
keep
is the
learning
type of
more
one
every
where it's
time you
like
read
worth
it.
a PM to wits it, I feel like.
Yep. Yeah, you know what? Is he on right now? Yo, if you can swing by ADL, we got some massive Wang gravy. No dick joke pun intended.
Massive wing gravy.
I was
Yeah,
gonna say, swing by ADO. We gotta show you the Wang gravy.
strictly speaking about our boy Ruyong Wang and his new patented technology that measures absolute motion. Lamau. All right, cool. There we go.
Jeez. You wild fucks. Seriously, this is really interesting, man. Like I said, y'all are way smarter than me. You have spent more time, and that's why you understand it more. But like, I get the significance because, like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
No,
Wits has
because
been
dude, it's
talking
common
about
sense that
how
that's
relativity's bullshit forever. Sorry. Go on.
No, I was gonna say, well, just like I think like a lot of us, like it's like the fact like an airplane can't measure its speed. Like it has to use either GPS or it has to measure its speed relative to like the jet stream it's moving in. Like this technology is crazy. Like it's implying a measure of absolute motion against a background medium. Like that's all that really is. The
It's
only
an
way.
absolute reference frame, bro.
Yeah.
This is the end all be all of like, oh, there's no ether. Where's the absolute reference frame? There is no bro. Sorry.
Yeah, like the
You can
experiment
detect
is one
absolute
thing.
linear motion, bro.
The
Don't be
experiment is
sorry,
one
you
thing,
don't
but
dress
like
like
a
a sorry
patent.
person.
Oh, sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
I said, don't be sorry, Alan. You don't dress like a sorry person.
Oh, I don't even know what I said. Did I say sorry?
Yeah, well, people do that as a term of phrase. Like they'll be like, "Oh, sorry, you just
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
fucked up, bro." You know,
Yeah.
or they get whatever. But like, don't be sorry. Not for
Yeah.
this, especially.
Not for this, dude.
Yo,
Yeah,
Noah
absolutely.
will dig this.
Yo, Noah, you about to get some Wang gravy, bro?
How you doing? Sure.
What up, G? So
Maybe
you're
it-
familiar with our boy Ruyong Wang and his fiber optic linear gyroscope situation, right?
I've heard you guys mention it before, but I wouldn't say I wouldn't use the term familiar.
Oh, okay, bet. No worries.
So, what if we told you that this dude invented a certain type of gyro or of interferometer that could measure absolute motion, like of an airplane or a car, and give you a speedometer telling you exactly how fast you're going based purely off of laser interferometry in one unit.
So he has a device that essentially tells you your speed based on how the waves. Wouldn't that imply? Yeah, that implies an absolute reference frame.
Yes, sir.
My boy. Yo, that's what's up. Hell yeah, it does. Dude, not only does it imply it, it confirms it, reifies it, tells you what it is, makes it super obvious. Like,
It's a patent, dude. It's a patent for a speedometer based on that.
That's his contribution. Okay. Yeah, I mean, now I'm kind of getting it. Yeah.
Yeah. So so that was Sagnac's interpretation of how his device worked. Is that there was an ether wind, and that when you were in motion, you created like your own pocket of ether wind relative to that motion, and it it's so straightforward. It's like fucking. We'll read it at the end.
What's interesting is I remember listening to NPR, and they were talking about how if each person had their own personal like time bubble, space-time bubble, right? And if you went out into the universe, if there's two guys, right, each one has a watch set to the exact same time. One of them takes a quote-unquote spaceship out into the universe at like millions of miles an hour or whatever, and came back, he'd actually have aged less than the other guy who
Oh
was
yeah.
right. That's what this reminds me of, though, like, except in more like you're explaining it like in a reality kind of way versus like oh, that's a magical space-time thing. You know what I mean?
Yep. No, absolutely, bro. And then to that point, they don't even use the equations that bring along the clock paradox that you're talking about. They don't even use those to synchronize atomic clocks. They use the Sagnac effect, or they use an equation that's equivalent to accounting for the Sagnac effect. So, in other words, they're the atomic clocks on whatever his satellite is, however fast it's moving, whatever that craft is, the onboard atomic clock is solely accounting for the absolute velocity of that craft, with no way to tell, because it's in space or whatever. So like there's no way to tell how fast it's going unless they have like other references to it and whatnot. But that reference would have to be in real time, super accurate. You couldn't have any variance to it. So like it's all obviously done on board, right? It's not. It's like this is so fucking. The atomic clock doesn't need to uh when it's in motion, it'll compensate for that like automatically. And how does it know? How does it know? Because it'll start going out of sync. Like they have an equation to compensate for that variance in the sync, because they know exactly how much uh wavelengths are going to be split from the velocity, because they know they could measure absolute velocity. They're like, fuck, man. The way they describe an atomic clock with it being in a particle. So I started coming to this realization through the presentation I just did on the atomic model and all that. So when they say like, oh yeah, we use like a cesium atom and all that, no, they're using like a coherent beam of energy. So they're using a wavelength. They're using a wavelength of light, and they're keeping it at a certain wavelength using magnets and other radio frequencies. So that wavelength, it'll go out of shift proportional to velocity, obviously. So when they have their Sagnac equation correcting for that, that's all it is. An atomic clock's like a vertical interferometer, essentially. Like in a sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's my understanding. That makes sense.
Yeah, because there's no like particle in there that's bouncing around between two magnetic fields. It's keeping an energy. It's keeping an energy. Keeping a wavelength in phase.
Gotcha. So correcting for it based off the inputs, right?
Yeah, or based off of the velocity, because when you're moving, there's going to be electromagnetic retardation proportional to that,
Gotcha.
and that's what they're accounting for.
Specifically, and yeah, and varies with directionality, I would assume, right?
Yes, but the equation would compensate for it inherently.
Because it's really, yeah, I gotcha. Now,
Yep.
just to make sure I'm clear on that, accounting for that is essentially that's accounted for in the transform to the ECI reference frame, right?
So, for the atomic clock synchronization, is what we're talking about. That's not. There's no transformations for that. This is just how the clocks are synced.
Gotcha. Okay, so they just, I mean, I'm an engineer working on an atomic clock. How did they hide? How do they like trick me into thinking it's not doing what it's clearly doing?
I'll show you. 1 second. So this guy got absolutely fucking black, dude. Let me read this real quick. This Eric just sent this to me today. This dude got bodied for what he put out. So Paul Marmet, the sense about theoretical physics triggered a draconian reaction from the Canadian government, which immediately canceled all of his research grants, although they were not in theoretical but experimental physics. The attack was also followed by a reaction from the Laval University administration, which forced Marmot to retire and even evict him from his office. So, and what did he do? What were his crimes? Paul Marmot, 1995. Am I retarded? Marmot. Where is it at? 2000. So GPS and the constant velocity of light. This is one of those. Hey, Toby. This is one of those papers that proves that the speed of light is the same in all reference frames, or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, Paul Marmot, who published this paper, who shows that the speed of light is the same in all reference frames, breaks down this atomic clock synchronization predicament here, where how Brendan was talking about earlier, how atomic clocks under Einstein's synchronization would result in a paradox where, due to different gravitational potentials and relative velocity, one clock could become older or younger than another clock. In particular, a returning clock at the same moment that it returns to the stationary clock would be both older. Both of the clocks would both be older and younger than each clock, respectively, which is obviously retarded, makes no sense, and has never been physically manifested. So they use a different method of synchronizing it. And what Kelly and Marmot pointed out here is that the equations that they use are like, they have these dressed up relativistic equations, but he breaks it down and says like, so when you go back to this equation, he references it and says it's similar to another equation on page, where was the section at? One of these. And then it basically goes back to equation 13, which is just accounting for the Sagnac effect. Like it's just a classical equation just disguised as a relativistic equation.
Gotcha.
So that was this whole paper was, or not just that part, but a large portion of the clock synchronization thing was on that. And then he goes into
All I
detail.
gotta say,
What's up?
you verbalized what I was trying to say so much better
Oh, what did I say?
about the paradox with Einstein.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you just
Yeah.
you said it in one sentence. It was like, oh, that's
yeah. I've had some practice saying it, so it rolls off the tongue once you've paradoxed a couple times. So let's see here. Yeah, so we see that this equation in 24 is identical to the Sagnac effect, but also perfectly identical to equation 13. So yeah, they just keep dressing these up as like, oh, this is a relativistic equation, but this is your boy Sagnac, who we now understand is not a relativistic effect at all. And then consequently, Einstein's clock synchronization method is not compatible with the time given by GPS and the Sagnac effect. And the Sagnac effect must be added. Oh, dude, there must be So they must add a correction to account for the absolute velocity of the craft. No way. All right. And then
no way.
Yeah.
Wild.
And then there was another experiment. I think he's talking about the Allen and others experiment that was done in the 90s or something like that. Anyway, they basically turned GPS into a giant Sagnac device, a closed loop interferometer, and the variance in C at altitude shows that there's a 14 or 0.14 nanosecond delay going east, and I'm sorry, an increase in speed going east by 14 nanoseconds and a decrease in speed going west by 14 nanoseconds. And then like, yeah, he just completely, bodies all that shit. And like, this is apparently a paper that doesn't prove there's any variance. So, that's cool. So back to this, because that is so cool that they can measure absolute velocity and that there's actually,
Dude.
you're like, dude, it'd be cool if you could make something and put it in a plane. It's like, well, it turns out.
I just think it's funny that they have to use a correction in their GPSs for like you said, the absolute motion. Like their devices just aren't good enough. Their equations aren't good enough.
No, they got to dress it up and pretend. And then, because there was a whole thing where, anyway, I'm not gonna just keep on this real quick.
Yeah.
So a speedometer is not a standalone. A speedometer that is not standalone uses contact information from outside the moving body. For example, a speedometer in a car only works when the wheel of the car is in contact with the ground. The Payout tube, Toby? Payout tube of an airplane?
Pitot? Pytot?
I was gonna say pitot, or who knows though.
Payout. The Payout tube is a tool used to measure the speed flow. Oh, is that the thing? Is that the thing they put on the front of the plane that measures the? Yeah, okay.
Uses pressure, right?
Yeah, yep. So okay, yeah. So it's just gathering outside references to get to, like you were saying, it can only measure it relative to the outside reference frame, so whatever jet stream it's going through.
Yep.
So yeah, exactly, dude. Toby, your fucking brain is so big, bro. I just want to touch it. little brain massage. All right. Let's see. For a speedometer, Payout tube. The airplane works in the Payout tube. So surrounding the airplane, the sonar of a submarine only works when the sound wave reflects from an object in reference, and a GPS receiver only works when it receives a signal from a GPS satellite. Interesting. So, what were we talking about here? So GPS, and the GPS receiver only works when it receives the signal from a GPS satellite. So only outside references to gain the velocity. This is
Yep.
a speedometer that is not directly measuring the moving speed calculates the speed based on other measurable information. For example, the accelerometer in a navigation system measures the translational acceleration, and the translational speed is determined by integrating the accelerometer output with the initial
speed. So you'd still have to go back outside. You're still referencing some of the reference frame.
For acceleration is the navigational speed. So. Oh, yeah. So he's talking about the current inertial.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, for example, the accelerometer and the net. Okay. And then a patent has invented a standalone speedometer directly measuring the translational speed. The present invention provides a new method and a new speedometer that utilizes two spaced laser beams emitted from a laser and measures their time difference. Summary of the invention. In accordance with one aspect of the invention, a standalone speedometer directly measuring translational speed of moving bodies comprises of a source emitting two spaced interfering light beams. So is this, it's not saying that it's a single light beam that's split. It's actually emitting two light beams.
Two spaced laser. Wait, go back up to the diagram. Coupler with a mirror, detector, ring laser. Where's it? Where's the emitter?
Let's see, transparent photon laser. Okay, so one laser. So it is a beam split. He's describing the split as two beams. Then I just wanted to make sure, right? Laser mirrors.
Oh yeah, so I do. It does look like it's being split. Yeah, with the two different detectors. Okay.
All right. All right. So the two emitting two spaced interfering light beams. Mirrors or beam splitters, changing directions of the propagation of said light beams and detectors measuring the phase difference of said light beams. According to another aspect of the invention, a method directly measuring the translational speed of a moving body comprises selecting a light source emitting two spaced light beams with which interfere each other, changing the light beam direction and measuring the phase difference between the two beams, converting that phase difference to a translational speed of a body. So pretty straightforward invention of the thing that was an unremarkable experiment. The unremarkable experiment, dude. This dude got so fucking paid, bro.
Dude.
You've never heard about this? Because the military swooped in immediately, bro.
Immediately.
Do you like he dog, he patented it so quick, dude.
Dude. So like earlier today, I was talking with Kosho about it, and he was kind of arguing with me about the rotational relationship of the waveguide, like the parallel. I was just only talking about the conveyor section, and then I finally brought up the slack part, and he literally just disconnected when I brought it up. It was kind of weird.
Oh shit, dude.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
I'm 100% serious. Like, I didn't call it out. No, I don't know if like anyone else noticed, but like he straight up just left. To the point where I felt awkward because I was like, "Oh, I don't even know who I'm talking to anymore." You know, like.
Yeah. Well, we're definitely gonna do a. Fuck, man, we gotta give.
But if I had this, he's over there right now. Like Kosho's over there right now, and it's just like, dude, like, I don't know. We should probably be gentle with this because we've got some serious fucking gravy here.
It's a gravy train. There's a song about it.
I've been thinking for a while I want to do a speed of light video, like a nice, like, well, I don't know, like put a bunch of time into like making it look pretty, you know, and sound
Hey,
pretty.
man, I can find. I know Brenner has done some stuff. He has something on the speed of light. I can read it out for you if you want.
Well, this is gonna be. I'm gonna do like a script. I want to go through all this shit. And I'll definitely I'll want to include this in it. Like, this is, to me, this will be like the culmination of all of it. But
yeah,
also, like, this is a slam dunk, man. Like, this is the Allen meme, slam dunking.
the ultimate GG, bro.
It is, dude.
So a brief description of the drawings. Figure 1, the propagation of the two spaced beams in a medium. Figure 2 shows an example of the basic construction of the standalone speedometer with two spaced laser beams emitted from the front ends of the back of the laser. So it is two beams.
It's interesting.
It's a single laser, but it emits the beams going in opposite directions instead of being split from a beam splitter from a single beam. And then the interference pattern from that, he's able to deduce the translational speed through these equations that we'll get to in a second.
Wait, is it 2 interference patterns?
It's a single interference pattern. So I guess we have to look at how the laser works, but basically, because you know how Bennett was saying the timing with having 2 lasers, you can't do it because you could never synchronize.
You can never synchronize them. Never.
So this is a 2-way laser.
Yeah. Okay.
Essentially. So it's creating 2 beams that it eventually recombines, and the phase difference after that, instead of having it split,
it's just
traditionally.
A different method of.
And it's probably that he probably went with that for size. So you don't have to get the extra mirrors.
Wonder how big it is.
I was gonna say, are they taking one beam and reflecting it in the right way with the mirror to go, because he's shooting it forward and it says that he's shooting it backwards, and is he just reflecting that same beam somehow off of the mirror to shoot it both ways, so that way it goes, whatever is moving goes through one and then goes, I don't know, goes through the other or something.
Yeah, so check it out. Let me see if I can draw here. I'm gonna draw. Just let me freehand, bro.
Hell yeah.
The freehand? Okay, cool. All right, so there's 2 beams that come out. Or it's a single beam really, but it's split into like that. So when they get to this detector, the phase difference here between the green and the yellow and the green and the yellow, the differential between them gives the translational speed. Does that make sense?
Yes, like from the guy who doesn't know nearly as much about the details as you guys, I do have a rudimentary understanding of what you're saying.
Nice. Yeah, so here's the configuration here. Oh yeah, it's right here, actually. Cool. Transparent photo detector. Yeah, damn. So that's probably, so what is this, like a fucking maglite flashlight that just tells you your absolute velocity?
Dude, that's so insane. I can't imagine it's very cheap.
No, this is, you can't even buy one.
That's the shit you're putting in the new whatever the new Blackhawk is.
Yeah, this is military application.
Or that's going in rotating vortice space or vortice craft.
It's all alleged.
Yeah. So the description of the drawing. So we got these here. So the standing wave detector, laser cavities, an alternate construction.
Standalone speedometer with 2 speed laser beams emitted from the front and the back.
I'm sorry, Alan. I'm late. Can you just tell me the name of this paper?
Yeah, this is a patent from Ruyong Wang that we were looking at. So Ruyong Wang of the paper who...
Are you wrong, Wang?
Yeah. Are you wrong, Wang?
They did that this week.
You're so funny.
That's awesome.
From what year?
So 2004. So
Interessante.
Yeah, so the military hooked him up with a fiber optic cable that he used
allegedly.
Allegedly, that he used in several different configurations to show that you can detect linear motion with it. And they and they explicitly say that you're not able to detect linear motion with interferometry because of the Michelson-Morley debacle.
Okay.
Mainstream science, all of physics, like it's one of these global deceptions, right? So anyway, this guy got this really expensive fiber optic cable on loan from the military, and he did some experiments with it, proved that you could measure linear velocity with it, and then he patented technology that same year based off of those experiments. Well, actually, I guess it was years later.
He filed
5 years
for the
later.
patent.
Oh, he filed for it and then got it.
Yeah, it looks like he filed January 14th, 2005. So immediately.
Oh, filed.
Okay.
Oh, yeah,
What
bet
was
he
his
did.
background,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. So he works at the
Actually, the provisional application was in 2004. Go back.
Gonna
Filed on
say.
January
He
14th,
didn't have
2004. So he jumped. Dude, he hadn't even done the second
Yeah.
experiment yet.
Okay.
Dude, he hadn't even done the second experiment and he patented this shit.
Isn't that? But you can see it's like a dubbed in little date there. Isn't that funny? How it's like a fucked up like PDF editor. Even then.
Wow.
Yeah, man. Document.
Where do you see the
Provisional
right here.
application. Yeah, he's like, we better get
Yeah.
something on the books, dude.
Yeah. Yes, man. I mean, they're so sloppy with it sometimes. If you find these gems, like, sorry, go on. Like, I love this shit because of all of, I guess, family stuff. Yeah, continue. That's amazing, hilarious, but so funny. Wang.
Yeah. Wang and others. So,
Mm-hmm. And then
other
again,
Wangs.
it's like I can tell that sometimes it's like they just do fake everything. You know what I'm saying? Isn't that so
Yeah.
funny? Oh, what was
Yeah.
that? This
Oh,
might not be.
this is the diagram of the device he made.
Mm.
I'll be right back.
No, I'm not talking shit at all, Alan. I love when anybody talks about anything like this because document forgeries and real things have changed so much in digital space in the last like 25 years since we've watched it emerge, you know? I mean, I was looking at fake chemtrail papers that were 45 pages thick that I printed front and back, you know, talking about 1997 from my memories of growing up here in North Carolina when they started. Because I'm like, no, they started then. I was a child. I remember.
Yeah.
And then I looked at them and I'm like, oh, that shit's fake too. Whoa. You know, but not everything is, of course.
Yeah, they had to go back and edit all the climate change data too to support global warming because I guess if you went back and looked at the history or whatever,
it didn't say that one. It didn't say that
it
one.
didn't reflect it at all.
Oh, not at all. It was literally from MIT and like the regional Piedmont, you know, proud North Carolinians of the wonderful sky weather forecast or something like, you know, something like that. But
Something
that's
like
so
that.
yeah, not like raping the climate bullshit. But how
Right.
funny. No, thank you for going over it. Sorry.
Yeah, you're straight.
I got
So
off
yeah,
my as I'm just like, oh, all in my feelings. I apologize on mute.
yeah, you're good. So yeah, he did that experiment and then realized he had some really interesting technology here that completely defied our current understanding of physics. And then so he patented that. So we're going over the patent here and just kind of looking for like little extra nuggets of things that we could use to weaponize for arguments.
Absolutely. So who put this out? Was it on the military or just random HHS or?
So
you know,
this is Wang has cited his patent a couple of times in some of his papers. So this is just from Google Patents where you just look up where people filed.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. All right. So let's see here. We're on the detailed description of specific embodiments. The Sagnac effect shows that there is a time or a travel time difference between two counter-propagating light beams traveling along a rotating path. In the recent generalized Sagnac experiments conducted by Wang and others, Are You Wrong, Wang? And Yeezy, dude, shout out to Yeezy. And
I ping you. That's funny.
dude, I pee you. Yeah, dude. Okay, dude, are you fucking for real?
No,
Hold on a
this is what
second.
they did this week with those 4 pilots, bro.
Dude, no, dude.
Something Wong. This is how you know
Dude.
it's CIA, bro, or NSA.
Bro,
NSA all
is this
day.
literally something Wong and
It's
fucking
an NSA thing. I swear. I'm
Oh
sorry.
my god, dude. APing you, bro.
That's why you can't use it in an argument. That's why they make them, you know?
I
Oh,
ping
Are
Yao.
you
I read that as
wrong?
I ping Yao.
No.
I
Are
ping
you Yang Wang? Are you on Wang? Oh.
No,
Are you-
I think
are
that's
you-
a reach.
That's
No, it's saying long Wang like a fake Chinese accent like shitty Wang. Wrong Wang. That's what he's saying. Oh,
It's kind
funny.
of long Wang. Oh my god.
Exactly.
done.
Like
And
if
then
they were to
why
pronounce
say-
that R wouldn't be there for sure.
Yeah.
But
that's
really,
long.
Wang.
AI ping yo.
It's hilarious, dude.
Like if you read
So-
this, like I'm gonna AI ping you, but
So something Wong, Bing Bang Ow,
Yeah.
and We Too Low over here
you should write a
generalized the
thesis on
Sagnac
this.
effect, and they have their published paper here, which publication is hereby incorporated by reference the the travel time difference for the two counterpropagating light beams has been observed in a uniformly and translationally moving glass and air fiber for a light source and the detector are moving together with the fiber in a fiber optic conveyor. Fucking GG.
Is that a sentence?
Yes.
Wow. But no, you should have a counter argument just based on like everything from the names. That's a wow.
Oh, no, if someone says that, I'll just literally call him a retard. Hand wave.
Absolutely.
I swear
Like
they
between
do it
you and
on
me, it's like
purpose,
funny
right?
and like we
Oh,
could.
yeah,
you know,
for sure.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah,
I just wonder who gets paid for some of this shit. Continue.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
The standalone speedometer and method directly measuring the translational speed according to the invention utilizes the discoveries of this experiment. Hey Toby, real quick, that in that unremarkable experiment that was done by Ruyong Wang in 2004, what is he citing in there that he discovered? Because didn't he just discover that the speed of light is c in all reference frames? I'm just
Yeah,
I
that's
love
how,
that.
dude. That's how this
With
device. This device is it's all based on second order calculations that are
yeah. So
looking at the bending and warping of space time relative
Neglect
to the constancy of c, right?
oh yeah, so you said that there was a reference frame transformation in here. So real quick, just quick overview. Not seeing any relativistic equations in here. That's kind of alarming.
Want me to drop it on ChatGPT just to be extra sure?
Yeah, be extra sure, but there's not. Like there's no
it's- I mean,
there's
it's
no
not-
transformations
Like conceptually, there's not even any room for anything like that.
And
in here. It's
I feel like the grammar in this is so poor. Oh my gosh. I'm just pretending that I didn't used to tutor and love teaching.
a new speedometer is also related to the following general calculation. In an apparatus, we have two space laser beams which interfere with each other. The light beam 1 starts from A and goes through the path to I to B. The light beam 2 starts from A prime and goes to the path 2 and ends at B in figure 1. Neglecting all terms of higher than the first order, we have the speed of light u. So,
That
so
one got confused.
what's that?
That sentence entirely got me confused. I'm like, what is that?
Which one? This one?
Neglecting all terms of higher than the first order. I guess I'm just a little bit behind, but
So neglecting any other corrections that need to be made, like refraction index, that kind of actually.
okay.
Neglecting off. No, that would be a first order. So neglecting any other variables other than what's necessary to make the best approximation or whatever. So
Okay.
U equals c divided by n. So that would be your refractive index minus velocity times e prime over n squared. So where v is the velocity of the apparatus relative to the preferred
Mm-hmm.
Wait,
I hear a little one.
dude, what?
C is the constant.
Wait, read
speed
it
of-
aloud. I can't see.
All right. So
Neglecting all terms of higher than first order, we have the speed of light u, where v is the velocity of the apparatus. C is the
this actually needs to be in super
velocity of
fucking
the
red.
apparatus relative to the pre-framed frame. C is the constant speed of the light in the preferred frame. N is the refractive index, and is that C or E1? Is a
Oh,
unit
E
vector in
prime,
the
E
direction
prime.
of the path. E prime is a unit in the direction of the path. Hence, I give it to you, Alan.
All right. So what we have here Yeah, god damn it, I need to make it more red. 1 second.
Too important to be pink. It's got to be red.
It has,
Color,
dude.
color coding. Love it.
Dude,
I
you
love
should
it
have seen
so
the
much.
last paper. It was fucking epic.
And it's got to
sorry,
be
I gotta share
coherent
something
now.
real
There's so
quick.
much pressure, Alan. There's so much pressure.
I gotta share something real quick. Hold on. This cracks.
Oh
me
my
up.
gosh, my dog is sweating. I might have to turn the heat down. I'm just.
All right, so where v is the velocity of the apparatus relative to the preferred frame, this is the absolute. This is acknowledgement of the absolute background and how this apparatus functions. Because it's deriving the speed from what? Relative to what?
Yeah.
Relative to what? This right here, the preferred frame.
Yeah.
Which frame? Sagnac. Which frame was it, guy? Hold on, we have to go back to 1913 real quick and find out which frame we're talking about.
Poor fucking Sagnac, man.
Dude, let's see. Which was the? Let's see.
Dude
19
got gaslit till he died. Then
Let's
gaslit
see,
for
okay.
100 years.
Let's see. Turbulent air produced above the interfer. So this is like him comparing the atmosphere to the ether wind to kind of explain the effects that he measured. So let's see. So turbulent air produced above in the interferometer by a fan rotating about a vertical axis and blowing down towards does not produce any displacement of the interferometer's center. Given careful superposition of the two beams, the turbulent air analogous and less intense, produced during the rotation of the system does not affect the experiment. The interference observed in the the observed interference effect is very much the optical effect of rotation due to motion in the system relative to the ether, and directly shows the existence of the ether, a necessary condition for the luminiferous waves proposed by what's this guy's Huygens or
Fresnel? Huygens?
yes, yeah, something Hughes and Fresnel.
Huygens?
So relative to the ether. So the detection of motion through the system relative to the ether. Where was that other part where he talks about the whirlwind? Or whirlpool.
By the
sorry.
way, ChatGPT's like, no, dog, there's definitely nothing about relativity in here or any sort of relativistic equations.
When?
Schwinn.
Atmosphere. Okay, here we go. Sorry.
Oh, that's a bike though.
So okay. So let me highlight this.
Oh my god.
All right. In a moving system, as a whole relative to the ether, the propagating time between any 2 points of the system should change in any way similar to a stationary system subjected to the ether wind relative to the speed of which at each point of the system will be the same and directly opposite of the speed at any point, and would contain light waves in a manner similar to an atmospheric wind carrying sound waves. The observation of the optical effect, such as an ether wind relative to a stationary ether, will constitute proof of the ether's existence, just as the observation of the wind relative to the atmosphere on the speed of sound in a moving system will constitute everything else being equal, a proof of the existence of a stationary atmosphere enveloping the moving system. So, little distinctions here. So, he was also a Copernican lad, so he's kind of equating it to like the Earth being in motion and trained and all that kind of stuff. But so obviously our interpretation is stationary Earth, ether wind following sidereal time, motion within that creates its own ether wind essentially, and electromagnetic propagation going through that varies relative to that velocity. That was Sagnac's original interpretation of it. And that's what he showed with these equations, with the first order dependence on the rotation of the device. Like that's why he was saying it's equivalent to a wind within like an overall wind that's supposed to be rotating with the Earth. So as the atmosphere rotates with the Earth, there's winds within it, and that's what he's saying how the ether functions with relative motion through within it, and he's equating the stationary atmosphere to a stationary ether because he thought that the Earth was moving through a stationary ether and all that kind of shit, and yeah. So all right, that was the original interpretation. So when they're all talking about that, oh, I'm sorry. So yeah, so when they're referencing that absolute reference frame, that background, this is that. This right here this is like a nod to Sagnac. Like, hey, bro, we got you on that preferred frame because this is what they used to call it, a preferred, like the ether background.
Yeah.
This is what they how they talk
Gotcha. I
about
see why you're like got excited when you saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, this is known as the preferred frame.
Yo, so Dave,
this is the ether.
and Crypto, check out what we're looking at. This is a patent for a speedometer that uses interferometry. It's just a patent, but it uses interferometry to measure absolute speed without needing to reference anything outside of the reference frame. It's essentially it's by going off of the background medium.
What's this V relative to, guys? It's relative to the preferred frame. Like, dog, it can't, like, I'm so excited. This is like Christmas.
Well, the sad thing is we don't know that like all we have is the patent. We don't have the evidence of the patent being used.
Yeah,
but
but
of course the government's using the hell out of this.
Yeah, but this is like so for anyone that says though, then like what you said is true, but for anyone that's like, oh, this experiment was insignificant, didn't prove anything, like, dog, look what came out of this. Like, obviously we don't have the technology to back it up, but just look what came out of this, and then like look what happens when you question Wang about anything. Just zero like the dude obviously copped a fucking massive payout for this.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Dude, without a doubt.
All right, catch me up. I couldn't hear anything. I had terrible reception when you guys were talking to me before. What's the deal now? We got a payoff.
Dave.
Why? What happened?
Ruyong Wang. So you remember our boy Ruyong Wang of the 2004 Generalized Sagnac effect? Yes, Alan.
Oh shit. It's cutting in and out. I'm at storage again.
No worries. I'm just gonna proceed ahead and we'll catch up when you're good.
Yep.
Okay. All right, cool. All right, so preferred frame. So now we're all caught up on the significance of that, and for him to just throw this in his patent is just like he just patented the ether, guys.
Basically,
yeah. A patent that references how do you use the ether? Where this measuring relative motion from an absolute background. This is what does it. So C is the constant speed of light in the preferred frame. N is the refractive index, and E prime is the vector unit in the direction of the path.
Good grief. Good night.
What do you think the speed of light is in the preferred frame? Do you think it varies proportional to the velocity and the fucking the vector unit of the direction of the path? Dude, preferred direction. Hello? Does that not the reference? Does that mean if it's traveling east or west? Ruyong, hello? Huh. Cool, man. So there's three important factors to determine. So there's three important factors to determine the speed of light in this frame. And it is the refractive index. So that's obviously going to affect the propagation. Somehow the velocity relative to a preferred frame, which isn't named here, changes the speed, and the direction in which you are traveling changes the speed. All of these factors over the refractive index squared tells you what C is. And keep in mind, when this says that in moving in the preferred frame, so the preferred frame would be In the case of an airplane, it would be the airplane. It's attached to the airplane. The preferred frame would be it's detecting the motion of the airplane. It can be inside of the airplane, outside of the airplane,
In your
on the
butt.
airplane wing, on the air yeah, in the airplane wing. You can swallow it. It can be in your stomach. You're in the airplane seat in the fucking coach section or whatever they call it, and you're getting readings to the your absolute velocity within that plane.
Yep.
All right. So hints, and then the extended version here. We have the time travel of the beam path, where all this goes on, and then we're DS and ED, blah 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 blah. The difference time, blah. Cool. All right. And it says where part 3 is virtually an arbitrary path from A prime to A. We have the time difference here. This indicates that the time difference for the two or more beams is
Dude, it's just like body bag after body bag.
Oh man, like
yeah.
Okay.
So you think Matt Cogdist out, or do you think he like just like is being dishonest?
So there's no way he's being dishonest.
You just Cogdist out.
Cogdist out.
I think
Because
you're probably right.
I know he cogdist on it from that first time when he said that he thought about it for 3 days and it troubled him. and then he came to the and then he came to the realization that Wang was just doing a prank.
Dude, so that then he pretended like he wasn't
I'll
familiar
never
with
forget
it.
that. Yeah, I'll never forget that, because you don't think about something for 3 days and it troubles you if it's a science. If somebody linked me a paper and it troubled me for 3 days, like that would mean that paper had like it was going to have a significant impact on my worldview, because I fully understood the magnitude of what was being said in it, and the implications of it would either confirm or contradict my worldview. Like that,
Yeah.
that would be the only reason that would cause me to like be troubled by it.
Yeah. I think you're right, yeah.
And yeah, I think you just cogdist out, and then the path of least resistance, because we're going to look over the refutation paper here, and I bet you it's just going to be some dog shit reference frame transformation reification shit.
Yeah. Like, are you talking about refutation of Wang?
Yeah, because somebody
Cool.
posted in the comment
yeah.
section saying that there was a refutation to Wang's experiment, a refutation to an unremarkable experiment, by the way, that needed refuting. So the guy followed through and gave me the link. I just haven't read it yet, so we're gonna read through it here after we read this patent that absolutely obliterates the notion of relative motion and not being able to measure linear velocity. Therefore, the travel time distance between the two beams. So he gives the equation there to derive the proportional relationship with the phase difference and the speed of light to get the velocity. So, which means that the time travel of the two space laser beams is a there's nothing, dude. So rarely in physics do these people get a chance to get first order measurements and first order effects and shit. So this is so the fact that these are the only factors for consideration for the variance is super significant.
Yep. Because otherwise, when we try to get those measurements, they go through an error-weighted least squares regression model first.
Yeah, this is literally just taking the refraction index, which they know, the speed, the approximate speed of light given by Maxwell's equations, which seems to hold true enough, especially for north-south propagation. Like it's good, it makes accurate predictions, so there's no reason to cry about that. So we've got the stuff that they know. This is all affecting the actual speed of the propagation. To determine the actual speed in the relative to an absolute background, like your actual velocity, no matter what. And then so the refractive index of the propagation of the electromagnetic propagation, your velocity and the direction in which you're velocitying. Toby, why would it matter which direction you're velocitying in if there's no ether wind and no preferred direction?
Well, dude, it's all just relative, right? Like this detector is also connected to something else somehow. There's some kind of relative motion that's being detected. Just ignore the fact that it's literally a speedometer.
It's connected to fucking Einstein's
a standalone speedometer, but you can't detect linear motion.
It's attached to Einstein's foreskin.
Yes.
Yes, precisely.
Yeah, so let's see here. So the projection between the positive and negative, depending on the angle between the velocity or the path and the velocity. If you give positive, give it here in figure 1. The basic construction of the standalone speedometer is described here under. I like these words. Here under, here to, all that kind of shit. Those are my favorite. What about you, Toby? Are you a hereafter or a here to man?
Here under sounds pretty good. I'm a here under guy from now on.
I've never seen here under. So I'm gonna start using that. So described here under with the reference to figure 2.
Forthwith.
What's that?
What about forthwith?
Forthwith. Yeah, foreskins. Yeah. Yeah. There are 2 spaced light beams emitted from a laser. 11. So both light beams are changed in the direction in the mirror of the splitters. So the light difference detected in the path shown. Propagation time intervals. I'm losing it. My ADD's kicking in.
So this calculation's going to be pretty interesting.
All right, read it off. Take over for a minute because my brain's skipping out.
So I can't, dude. You're the equation man.
Oh no, I meant just like the words.
So the basic construction of the standalone speedometer is described here under, with reference to figure 2. There are 2 spaced light beams emitted from a laser. Both light beams are changed the directions on the mirrors and beam splitters, and the interference fringes and time and travel time differences are detected at 2 detectors. So I think that's probably so that you can have probably just for precision. I'm assuming that it has
least weight Ayres regression. Like, yeah, I'm just kind of joking, but yeah, so you could compare it, right?
I'm assuming, yeah. The light paths are shown in figure 3. The propagation time intervals via different paths in the speedometer can be specifically calculated below. Man, that's super interesting, dude. This is so interesting. Because, go ahead.
Yeah. I was going to say the change in time is equal to T sub 21 minus T sub 11 equals 1 over C. And then the integral of sub 21 NDS minus the integral of sub 11 ND. Like, I don't know what these are. But yeah.
But so where the projection of the path W2, W1 on the direction of the velocity V is L, thus delta T, or is that delta, right?
Yeah.
Delta T sub 1 to sub V.
Oh, dude, fucking a little sub V bracket outside, a little subscript outside of the, like, dude, this is so fucking confusing.
Dude, but this is crazy because this is how he's going from so where the projection of the direction of velocity is L, thus projection of path on the direction of the velocity. Scroll up a little bit. The light paths are shown in where the projection of path W2 minus W1 on the direction of the velocity V is L. So direction of velocity V, the direction of the projection of the path W1, W2, W1. Is that are those figures W2, W1?
Yeah, so the projection path W2 and W1, let me scroll up. I think those were referenced up here.
Modulator.
Yeah, so just the different directions. So this
All right, hold on. Let me just take this in for a split second.
Yeah, I'm about to put up a screenshot on the side so I can reference it when we go back.
Yeah,
down to
good call. Okay.
Actually, should have worked.
I'm ready to scroll back down when you are.
Yep.
Standing wave detector.
I'm gonna go ahead and get all these so I can bring them down.
So it has quite a few detectors, huh?
Well, this is the same detector, isn't it?
Sorry.
So but I'm saying it has detectors in the laser as well as the other detectors.
Oh, the photographic detectors or whatever it said. In the inside of the transparent photo detectors. These right here.
Yeah. Interesting.
Coupler, and then this one.
So W1, W2. Let me pull that up as well.
Okay.
Direction of the path W2 minus W1. Is that what they're saying there? On the direction of the velocity V is L thus. Wait, so
Where were we? Fuck. Oh, right here.
I keep envisioning it being positioned so that the laser is at the front. But now that I'm reading this, is this actually, this would be turned on its side in the front of the front vector, you'd want it to have the vector going from detector, like from front to back, right? Like from detector 1 towards detector 2 is the directionality you'd be measuring from. I guess I need to trace it back here.
Yeah, so like this. You want it orientated like this, you're saying?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out which side is where's the which direction is what's the vector of the velocity? Or what's how is this oriented in relation to the speed?
Yeah, how is it orientated? So let's see, we would have to, doesn't say. Or let's just keep reading and see if he says. That's a good question. So the basic instruction. Okay, with the projection, which can be measured by detecting a fringe of delta F sub 1 equals V times L over C lambda on detector 1 when the speedometer has a relative speed to the preferred frame. Similarly, the travel time difference between path 12 and path 22 okay, so the path between 12 and 22. Similarly, the time travel distance between path 12 and 22 is this one right here. So delta T sub 2, where we have the time difference between section 12 and section 22. So these, just the length of that equals C divided, or 1 over C. So where the projection plus is on the, okay, where the projection path 1 on the direction of the velocity V is minus L. So I think you're right, Toby. It has, if you just align it in the direction of motion, it's making the measurement.
Okay. I mean, I feel like it could work either way, I feel like.
I don't see why it wouldn't. Well, I don't see why it wouldn't. So,
well, I guess because of, actually maybe because the detectors are.
So here's the thing. we know that the atomic clocks and stuff, like the way that they typically orient this stuff when they're going for, I don't think they have to orientate it. Here's why: when they're doing specific stuff like trying to measure the rotation of the Earth, they have to orientate it to Polaris and all that. It has to, like, there's a specific, directionality it must be facing and all that. I don't think you have to do that for any of this because it's not measuring against because they don't do that for the inertial navigation systems. They just spin it up and it detects relative motion from the background, but they just tell everyone that it's not doing that. but that's what it is, right?
Yeah, but that's calculated based off of a directional, like a specific path, right? Like a direct path from one device to the other. So that's like a specific distance, specific path in relation to that specific relational velocity, or the relational velocity between those two objects, right?
For the split path?
No, for GPS. Like when it sends that radio signal, it's the calculation that's being used there is dependent on that direct distance and that direct velocity relationship, right?
Yes.
So I feel like if you're trying to measure that straightforward, like if you're trying to measure that, I think you can only really measure one vector of velocity accurately with this, I feel like. Or you would have, I do feel like you would have to orientate it, unless, like, you could, I don't know, I guess I don't really know exactly how they're doing the math.
Yeah, because you only orientate the inertial navigation system in calibration, or when you're trying to do it for Earth rotation. So like it otherwise doesn't matter.
I fucked him again there, and he's just got away with it.
You all right, Crypto?
Oh, sorry. I'm playing a game.
Oh, no worries, bro.
So can you walk me through? Sorry, maybe that's not fruitful.
No, you're good.
Can you walk me through again how the GPS exactly how the that relates to a coordinate?
Yep. So let's see here. Shout out to Wang.
Dude.
So
this has been so cool to dig into.
So the range measurement equation used in GPS is the absolute value of R sub R times T sub R minus R sub S times T sub S equals C times T sub R minus T sub S. And what these are the coordinates of the location when it's basically like a snapshot of where the craft was when it sent the signal, and then the receiver end, the time difference in C based on how long it took for C to propagate to get to the receiver. So it's basically just taking, it's a range measurement equation based off of the difference in C from the time of propagation to the time received.
Yeah, but see, that has a directionality, right? Like that's still
no. The difference isn't accounted for specifically. It works in any direction. You know what I'm saying?
I get that, but even just in order to calculate a velocity, you have to have a vector. Like there has to be like a direction that velocity is going through. Like you can't, like, to get from point A to point B, you have to, in order to calculate that velocity, you have to, there's like a, do you know what I'm saying? Like the distance is inherent in the speed.
Yeah, from C, right?
Yeah, from C. So I'm just saying with this, you would be measuring that variance of C, but if you had it orientated sideways or something, so on an angle, huh? Yeah, because with what we learned about linear motion earlier, actually Wangs equations, dude. Okay.
Yeah, all the motion.
Dude. Okay, cool. This is so cool. Okay, so I see how you could say. I see why you think then that this could detect any direction. Yeah, because you have enough. The linear track is gonna, yeah, it picks up linear motion. So yeah, straightforward.
Yep.
You'd still get a fringe shift no matter which direction.
Yep. And then, so you would probably get, obviously, the best reading being aligned with the direction of motion, but I don't think you could still determine it.
Yeah, because I mean, you have a full, like, you have, yeah.
Because all you'd have to do is then, so you would have it calibrated to, because obviously any direction is going to produce a variance. You would just have it calibrated to when it's this variance. It's obviously not getting the strongest reading, so it would, like, there's ways that they could mathematically do it, I think, where they could get it to do any direction if it mattered at all, if there was like a difference in the reading. But I don't think there would be, because
it's just like,
according to Wang, there's none.
It's hard to wrap your head around an absolute background medium, like in this specific context. At least for me, it's like. But if you have that as a reference, like, I mean, what a solid measurement.
Right. Accurate down to the nanometer, bro.
Dude, so cool.
All right. So, I think I can't remember, but we'll go off of this point. It indicates the difference in the difference between the fringe shift on detector 1 and the fringe on detector 2. Yeah, delta F sub, all this sub 1, blah, blah, blah. And the speedometer moves at speed v. The speedometer moves at speed v. So it indicates that there's going to be a fringe shift pattern that corresponds to the velocity when the speedometer moves at speed v. And that's the derivation for it. So in this configuration, each fringe shift on detector 1 or detector 2 is sensitive to the stability of the optical path having the length L, but the value and difference between them of delta F sub 1 minus delta F sub 2 is not sensitive to the ability of the optical path and only its optical stability. If the air can be removed from the apparatus, the fringe shift on the detectors will be more stable.
Wow.
As an example, if we can detect the fringes between the fringe shift delta F sub 1 and delta F sub and minus delta F sub 2 with a sensitivity of 10 to the minus 4 fringe, we can detect a speed difference as small as 10 to the minus 4 C delta over 2L equals blah, 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 this crazy shit. So, what is this? Micrometer precision, bro. So, what's better, micrometers or nanometers?
Nano.
That's what I thought. It's what are they? A million times smaller?
But I don't think that is. That's, dude. Look that up. Look up what that is. I don't think that's.
UMs is micrometers.
Oh, really? Okay. I trust you. Okay.
Yeah. I only know it from this right here. 1 second. I'll show you why I know it. Or why I think that. It's because it's from arc seconds. They have a so when they get into the little U thing, they call that the micro arc second. So I'm assuming that's just a micrometer. That's the symbol they use for micros.
Gotcha.
This upside down U. So with a phase shift of lambda the wavelength will equal 0.6 micrometers. Micrometer precision, boys. There is an implied assumption in the calculations above that the phase difference between the two spaced beams is constant when they leave their laser cavity. This assumption is true only because standing waves are built in the resonant cavity, and the phase difference of the two ends of the standing wave is n pi. So the refractive index times pi. To check the standing wave detector, 14 transparent photodetectors can be located in the resonant cavity. Dude, shout out to resonant cavities, Toby. Otherwise, the change of the measurement of the standing wave detector. I'm sorry. Otherwise, the changes of measurements of the standing wave detector measure the motion. Detectors measure the motion.
So they're checking that it's checking that phase is consistent when it comes out of there, right? Implied assumption phase difference between the two space beams is constant when they leave. Phase difference between the two spaces.
They're just saying that they're assuming that the speed of light is the same as it's exiting, as it's leaving, or whatever, right?
That's true because only standing waves are built in the laser resonant cavity. Only standing waves. What's a standing wave?
Good question.
Oh, I studied standing waves. Can't remember what they are, but.
So a standing wave is a combination of two waves moving in opposite direction having the same amplitude and frequency. This phenomenon results in an interference that is superimposed. Their energies are added together or canceled out. In the case of waves moving in the same direction, interference produces a traveling wave. For oppositely moving waves, interference produces an oscillating wave fixed in space.
So they have like a fixed laser wave that's how they get it going in two different directions. Somehow they are emitting like a standing wave.
What would it be called? Dual-sided laser emitter?
It might say it in the patent or something.
Well, no, I mean this is probably just something that exists already, like a laser that shoots out of both sides.
Why do I smell Judaism with all this?
Here. There's always a Jew somewhere, crypto. Always rubbing their hands and shit. Yeah, so that's all it is, really. It's just taking the extra prism splitter out.
Yeah, and so then they have those extra what detectors or whatever they're called. What do they call them?
This right here, the shit, the transparent photodetectors. Yeah.
Yeah, so those are just to make sure that the assumption is true that phase is equal.
Starts out in phase. Yeah. So yeah, it's exactly what it is. It's making sure it starts out the same, and then after it passes this part, this is where the relative motion detection is happening.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
On the recombining. Well, it is on the recombining for the detectors, or before it hits the detector. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they leave this cavity in phase, or completely synced.
Yep.
Fucking A. All right. There is an implied assumption about the calculations above that the phase difference between the two beams is constant when they leave the laser cavity. I mean, I'm okay with that assumption based on this.
Yeah, that assumption is true only. Yeah.
Only because the standing waves are built in the right here. So, all right. So to check this, the standing wave detectors are yep. Cool. All right. Otherwise, the changes in measurement, so like we were just saying. So the speedometer has several features. Two beams, the main part of the speedometer, propagate through the same path but opposite directions for the detector. Therefore, the speedometer is optically stable if the difference between the two detectors is used. It is very important for a speedometer to be mounted on a moving object. Oh, so I guess if you were to swallow one of these and be inside of the plane, it might not be as effective as if it were mounted onto the plane.
Optically stable if the difference in... Wait, I don't understand though. I don't get that from that.
Mounted on the I guess yeah. I don't either. So it would be equivalent, wouldn't it? Just being in the plane.
Yeah, like I don't. To me,
Yeah.
it's still measuring against an absolute background medium, regardless of where you mount it.
Yeah, you're right. When the speedometer is moving at v,
No?
or at speed v, the speed can be measured by comparing the travel time differences before and after turning the speedometer 90 degrees. Okay, so when the speedometer is moving at a speed v, the speed can be measured by comparing the travel time differences before and after turning the speedometer 90 degrees, because we have delta f sub 1 minus delta f sub 2, 90 or sub 90 degrees equals 0 after turning 90 degrees. Therefore, the measurement is v, or v, so your velocity equals the frequency shift sub 1 minus the frequency shift sub 2 minus the frequency shift sub 1 minus frequency shift sub 2, 90 degrees, times c times lambda over 2L, which was the length of direction or vector direction. I can't remember. Oh, VLC squared was the speed relative to the reference frame. Yeah. So, okay, so it has to take 2 readings to get the velocity, Toby. It takes one in the, like, one where you're moving, and then you just turn it 90, and it fucking tells you the velocity.
Turn it.
And
90.
it doesn't matter which, like, the orientation. You just take a reading, turn it 90 from that reading, and then the difference between the
Aha.
phases, and that gives you the velocity.
Gotcha.
Does it tickle your balls afterwards?
What's that?
Does it tickle your balls afterwards?
Yes.
Sweet. That's what you pay the extra money for.
Yeah. After turning the speedometer 180 degrees, the speed v becomes speed minus v, and we speed minus v, and we have delta f sub 1 and delta f sub 2, 180 minus the wavelength difference on the opposite direction. Therefore, the measurement will be doubled by comparing the fringes before and after 180 degrees. It is, the same thing as earlier, but just 180. So, what are they saying here, Toby? Speedometer after
I'm
the
confused
speedometer
now
turns.
because I'm like wondering, how does this thing get turned?
So if it's like a flashlight, kind of looks like, it just looks like a straight rod. I think you just turn it. It would be like mounted on a what's the right word? A gimbal kind of thing, or like a
Some kind
tripod
of
or
like
something
a
that
motor or
spins.
something. Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah. And it would just turn. It would just hit those 90s. So after turning the speedometer 90 or 180 degrees, the speed v becomes speed minus v. We have comparing this. So, okay. The speedometer can be constructed with fiber technology. Ha! Doesn't even have to use oh dude, yeah, they definitely weaponized this, dog. It can be done with fiber optic technology. And alternative construction of the standalone speedometers is described here under the reference figure 5. We'll definitely be looking at that. There are 2 light beams spaced emitted from the front and back of the ends of the laser. Both light beams change directions on the couplers, mirrors. The interference phases, time travel differences are detected. 2 detectors, A or 23A modulator 24. It can be utilized to increase sensitivity of the speedometer if necessary. So they can get even more micrometers. And the this fiber speedometer is similarly this fiber speedometer is similar to the fiber optic conveyor. Oh, no way. The one that doesn't measure linear motion. The one that was completely unremarkable and fucking reified relativity theory, and doesn't use doesn't use a Sagnac device the way that Sagnac originally interpreted it, using a absolute background frame. You don't say. Therefore, the difference between the phase shift on detector 1 and phase shift on detector 2, delta phi sub 1 and delta phi sub 2, is 4 pi VL over C lambda, where the speedometer moves at speed v. if we detect the difference between the phase shift delta phi sub 1 and delta phi sub 2 with a sensitivity of 10 to the minus 7 radians, we can detect a speed or a speed difference as small as 10 to the minus 7 lambda fucking units in micro unit millimeters. Very cool. So yeah, just more micrometer precision. Another alternative construction of the standalone speedometer is here under in reference 6, where the two speeds change direction with the coupler, the interference beams. God, damn, this is the longest 8 pages of my life. All right. And another alternative construction. Oh, so these are all the alternative constructions.
Gotcha. Okay, because that makes sense then. Because I was getting kind of confused by that one right there.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah.
Shout out to your boy Ring Laser. This is my favorite linear motion fiber optic measurement. the linear one, the linear fiber optic ring laser linear motion detector by Ruyong Wang, patented in 2004, approved in 2009. All right. So it's both light beams are changing the direction of the coupler mirrors. The interference fringes time differences located to detectors.
Another alternative construction of the standalone speedometer is described hereunder with reference to Figure 7. There are two spaced light beams emitted from the same ring laser. Both light beams are changed the directions on the couplers with mirrors. The interference fringes and travel time differences are detected at two detectors. A standing wave detector can be located in the ring laser cavity. Okay. An apparatus using 3 standalone speedometers can measure motion in 3-dimensional space. Okay, so that was kind of my next question. When you said it had to turn 180 degrees, that was my first thought was like, well, what if you just had another one perpendicular, right?
Dude, oh my god. So you could measure absolute, dude. GG. This needs to be the reddest of the fucking reds.
You can't. You just need to make it wholly not opaque, but yeah, just a red square. You can't even read it.
Like, dude, this. What the?
You need some red arrows.
Yeah, you know. Dude. All right.
All right, since you're all excited about this, you could try to explain to me why you're so excited about this.
Did you hear? Did you,
Dave? So you know how we've got some minor pushback on Ruyong Wang from the boys over at Earth Awakenings, where they've a couple of them have said, oh well, you know, maybe it's just measuring relative motion, and I think what's that guy's name? He's a nice guy. The Falcami.
Oh, Falcami, yeah.
Falcami.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy said that he thought that it was that guy correctly pointed out that not correctly, but that guy's assumption was similar to what I Can Science That said, was that it was measuring relative motion between the two things.
Right.
So which it's not doing, but that was like some pushback that we got, and then I Can Science That came out and said basically the same thing. And then so we were re-examining the whole situation, and what we found is it's even better than we could have ever imagined. And so not only does Ruyong Wang measure linear motion absolutely against an absolute background, he patented technology immediately while doing that experiment before he even finished it. So this technology that he patented, you'll never guess what it is, Dave. It's a it's a speedometer that uses the Sagnac effect to measure absolute linear any motion. And if you have a configuration of this speedometer in 3 axes, you can measure. Let's see, in a parent, the apparatus using 3 standalone speedometers can measure motion in 3-dimensional space. So you can measure absolute motion down to the micrometer in any direction, irrespective, with no references outside of anything.
Like for a plane or for anything?
Anything.
Anything, bro. Plane,
car,
spaceship, fucking drug mule, a fucking cat, a drone.
You're
you
measuring
name it, dog.
Well, so of course I want to talk about how it would work in a plane, because then it would have to go against the absolute reference frame of the ground in 3D space, right?
Yeah, well, and
Yeah.
also if you had one of these things, dude, we could figure out a lot about how far these planes are actually traveling in the south.
Right.
But yeah, and yeah, you're right though. It also implies that there's an absolute background reference frame.
There has to be. It has to have something to gauge it against, which planes already do, but then they have ways of like trying to finagle it, make it seem like I think pendulous vanes or whatever that don't actually use in their gyroscopes. But anyway, so yeah, that's interesting. That's great. So did he patent these and then get paid off not to do anything with it? Is that the idea?
That's
Dude. He got paid. Dude, he got paid to fucking, like, the military owns this now. Like, this is all military tech. Because the military loaned him the gyro for the experiment, or the fiber optic cable for the conveyor experiments in the first place. So using that, he realized what he had and patented all of this that same year,
Right.
2004. Yeah. So he copped that huge payout. So that's why when I emailed him asking about, reference frames and shit, he was like, "Fuck off."
Yeah, I'm rich. I'm rich. Fuck you.
Fuck off. I'm rich, bitch.
While I have all this money to spend.
Yeah. So, because the thing with Wang's experiment in 2004, what Bennett had asked Wang to do was to put a separate fiber optic cable on the conveyor and see if that would also measure linear motion. And Wang was like, "Nah, I'm not going to do that." So he knows what's up. But yeah, so that's fucking GG. So anyway, he went and patented linear motion detecting device off of an absolute background. This whole paper makes references to like how it works. It's measuring absolute motion off of an absolute background, or preferred frame, he calls it. But which, that's what they used to all call it back in the day.
And so they're probably keeping this top secret type technology that they don't want people to have, because then they will realize that we're on a stationary a reference frame. That's part of it.
Well, the acknowledgement of the ether and how this works would completely invalidate their interpretation of Michelson-Morley, special relativity, general relativity, all of modern cosmology, the way that they think light. Like,
I didn't know this was ether related. Okay, you were talking about.
Yeah. This is all Sagnac related, because the Sagnac
it
effect
uses
works
interferometry, so it's measuring against essentially the inherent ether drift.
Okay, so it would incorporate that into, like, if you were using a drone with this technology, you would use the ether drift to your advantage.
You would know the exact location of that drone down to the micrometer.
Right. Which is what they do with GPS already, basically.
Essentially.
Yeah.
But they could do this with no outside references.
Right. So, okay, how do you present this to a baller that has to admit that there's an absolute reference frame? Is it the same problem still, or does this solve the problem?
Well, we've still got it in our back pocket, basically.
Yeah, this hasn't been this clip hasn't been unloaded yet.
You're not live?
Nope.
No.
Okay.
No, we're just going over this in DM. I wish I had recorded this whole thing, to be honest with you.
I did.
You're a fucking G, Toby. Respect, bro.
Yeah, we're recording.
Absolutely.
I wasn't planning on doing anything with it other than just, exactly for this exact purpose of, like, if we wanted to review something.
How long have you been recording the whole thing?
I started pretty early in. Let me see.
Nice.
3 hours now, almost.
Oh, fucking A, bro. Awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, definitely send this to me when you get it uploaded because
Can do,
there's
can do. I wasn't
a
gonna
lot of-
upload. I feel like this should be a private thing.
well, yeah, it's just for us, but I mean, I
Just
wanted
love
it back
it
for references because
Oh,
we
yeah,
went over some
absolutely.
shit in here that I'm gonna forget.
Yeah, I'll send you
That
on
is
Telegram if that
fucking
works.
insane, dog. Like our review of Wang's, like that reading of Wang was fucking lethal, dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, send me the link too, because I'll see what I missed then.
Hell yeah, yeah, absolutely. Okay,
Or
so
should
cool.
we
I'm glad
upload
that's
it? I mean-
recorded. I mean, not until we square away with I can science that, because I don't want it to be like disrespectful. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
upload
no,
it as
yeah, dude, we've
private.
been like,
Upload it
I
as
have not been
private,
talking in a
and
way that I want to publish.
Yeah, yeah. So let's just
Yeah,
not
just
publish
take a
it then,
little
though,
clip.
too.
Yeah.
But in terms of like an official response and putting out content on it, I want to at least give I
If I
Can
can-
Science that a chance to be live for it.
Maybe there'll be some clips you want to save aside.
Well, I'll just take notes, but yeah. So
Do you think he'll let
the
you bring me along again?
so I hope so.
It's hard to
Also
say.
'cause-
Like, I feel like it's kind of unfair to him that it's like me and you, and then it's just him.
Yeah.
Did you hear Witsit talking about that guy trying to do that to him?
Oh yeah,
I think-
dude. Oh yeah, you know what,
Yeah.
dude? Fucking Dave, thank you. Fuck
I
that.
missed
So,
this.
so check this out. I Can Science that hit me up a while ago because you know how Witsit was like, hey, if you know credentialed lads, Ooh, Jaren says, join me live right now. Caught a faking ISS worse than I've ever seen. All right,
Wow.
Oh,
that's good. I mean, is this groundbreaking shit? Do we skip over to that real quick?
sure. Yeah, share it up, baby.
All right, hell yeah.
Got groundbreaking shit everywhere.
Dude, groundbreaking shit, boys. Let's
Breaking
go.
news. Breaking news.
Breaking live in 7 minutes. Okay, so he'll be
More.
live. He'll be live in
Even
7.
fake,
So
even
we'll come back
faker,
to
even
that.
faker than fake.
Oh yeah, we'll come back to that in 7.
I hung out with Jaren last night in the after party till like 3 in the morning.
Nice.
Nice.
You better
Nice.
not
I fucking-
baiting us, boy.
I dipped out around 1 a.m. my time, so was that like 9, 10 your time, something like that? 11.
Must have
Fucking
been.
bounced. Yeah, I got
And where
tired.
I am right now, what time is it for you?
12.
All right.
So yeah, when he goes live, we'll put it back on over to that. So let's try and bang out the rest of this real quick, so we can get a nice crisp recording. The particular embodiments disclosed here above are illustrative only, as the invention may have to be modified and practiced in different but equivalent manners apparent to those skilled in the art have the benefit of teaching herein. Further, no limitations are intended to the details of the construction or the design here shown, other than the described in the claims below. It is therefore evident that the particular embodiments disclosed above may be altered or modified, and all such variations are considered within the scope of the spirit of the invention. Accordingly, the protection is sought herein is set forth the claim following below. What is claimed? A speedometer comprising of a laser cavity directly and immediately emitting 2 spaced laser beams which interfere each other, and having an internal standing wave detector to measure the phase difference between said two spaced light beams. B. Mirrors and or beam splitters changing the direction of said 2 beams. C. A detector for measuring the phase difference of the 2 beams, whereby the speedometer will be a standalone speedometer for measuring the translational speed of a moving body.
Let me take over.
2. What's that?
Let me take over.
If you want.
Oh, you can go. Sorry, there's not. I guess you're at the end, pretty much.
Yeah, it's over.
Sorry. Go ahead.
A method directly measuring the translational speed of a method of directly measuring the translational speed of motion of a body comprising A. selecting a laser cavity directly and immediately emitting two spaced beams, which interfere with each other and having an internal standing wave detector to the changing the light beams. Very cool. All right. We did it.
Translation. Converting said phase difference to the translational speed of the moving body. Converting said phase difference to the translational speed of the moving. Wow. Is there another page? That's the last page. Yeah, cool.
Yeah. So what is claimed? This thing fucking rocks. All right. That's a hell of a fucking reading, my dudes.
Cool. I will I'll upload it and then I'll just